number 32, Chad Brinker. Eric Kramer from Monroe Central, wearing number 33. Number 34, Josh Nagy of Union Local. Representing the Indian Creek Redskins, Joey Lucchino, number 40. Buckeye Local Panther, Matt McCain, number 44. From Meadowbrook High School, Jake Casper, number 46. From Steubenville Big Red, number 52, Ryan Constantini. Representing the Potters of East Liverpool, number 54, Chris Davis. From Bellaire St. John, Zach Shuttler, number 55. Wearing number 56, Tom Poe from Bellaire. Shenandoah Zeps, number 58, Seth Reed. From Edison High School, Rich Smith, number 60. Wearing number 63 for Steubenville Catholic Central, Duke Fort. Representing the Tigers of Wellsville, Jeremy Miller, number 66. Wearing number 67, Brad DeHaze from Cambridge. Another East Liverpool Potter, number 70, John Freeman. Number 75, Mark Crow Jr. from Edison. Number 77, James Fisher from Bridgeport. Barnesville Shamrock, Craig Campbell, number 82. From Caddis, number 85, Colin Hardwick. And representing the Indian Creek Redskins, number 97, Nick Lamatrice.
And welcome back. We take a look down at the field, which is full of colors as we get ready for this OVAC All-Star football game. And right now, we take a look at your West Virginia All-Stars.
Number 1 from Wheeling Park, Brian Schell. Representing the John Marshall Monarchs, number 3, Josh Rine. From the Brook Bruins, Brian Boyd, number 7. Number 10, Eric Burkheimer from the Weir Red Riders. Also from Weir, Joe Filberto, number 12. From Cameron, number 14, Josh Durbin. Representing the Linsly Cadets, Chad Adams, number 20. Number 21, Ed Drummond from Linsly. Number 28 from Oak Glen, Bill Martin. Brook Bruin, Tom DeCirio, number 29. From Linsly, Chad Pratt's number 32. Number 33, A.J. Monceau from Wheeling Park. From Tyler, number 34, Nick Roberts. Number 40, Greg Stump from Weir. Brook Bruin, Jeremy Roberts, number 44. Number 46, Gary Morris from Brook. Howard Bertram, number 52 from Brook. Matthew Morandi, number 54 from Wheeling Park. Also from Wheeling Park, representing the Patriots, Gino Ochap, number 56. Number 58, Chad Clutter, Wheeling Park. From Brook, number 60, Phil McMahon. Representing the Bishops of Bishop Donahue, Eric Stevens, number 63. From Wheeling Central, Bob Contrigaro, number 66. Number 67, Tom Kolovic from Bishop Donahue. Representing the Red Riders of Weir, Mike Vizdak, number 70. From John Marshall, Chad Markinich, number 73. Also representing the Monarchs, number 75, Lance Phillips. Number 80, Chris Butler from John Marshall. From Wheeling Central, number 82, Brett Pettinger. From Valley, Tony Rine, number 85. From Linsly, Matthew Summers, number 90. From the Blue Dons of Weirton Madonna, number 93, Patsy Chiotti.
We're going to take a timeout and then come back with a kickoff of the OVAC All-Star Game. that pile of sheets. And welcome back to the OVAC All-Star Game live on WTOV9, the Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star Game for the second straight year, gentlemen. This is Bill Phillips talking with you along with the coach, Rich Walensky, and George Kellis. Second straight year that we have it live on WTOV9, and it just gets bigger and better each year.
Well, I tell you, Bill, even though it's being broadcast live, we have a great crowd here this evening. The Ohio side is almost all filled, and as you can see across the field, the West Virginia side is almost filled, so a great crowd.
I'll tell you, the greatest thing about this evening is that Mother Nature has cooperated with us. You can get a brutal humidity problem up in here, and the one thing we've got is just an absolutely perfect evening. Once the sun disappears over the hill, it's going to be super.
Well, let's find out who's going to get the football first. Let's go down on the field.
West Virginia, you are the visitors. If you would call the toss in the air, please. Call tails. It's ahead. Ohio, you're on the top. You want the ball. Okay, Blue, you're going to kick it. Which way? You're going to defend the scoreboard. You'll come back around here, please.
We're going to find out right away about defense, because that's been the big key in the 1990s as Ohio has had the edge in this game the last few years, fellas, is the Buckeyes have just played relentless defense in this game, in this mini winning streak of 3 straight that they have put together here. So it's going to be an opportunity right here, though, for West Virginia to go on the defensive side of the football and see what they can do against an Ohio offense. It certainly should feature a lot of balance.
Well, I tell you, it certainly will, George, with Ty Masciarelli, Colby Street, Chad Brinker, Clint Lekanudos, Richie Matakowski. They have so many weapons, as well as the wide receivers. Colin Hardwick from Cat has great speed, good size, good range, great hands. So I tell you, they've got an awful lot of weapons. They'll be in a wing tee, which means there's going to be a lot of misdirection. We're going to look for Masciarelli to be doing a lot of bootlegging one way or the other, trying to hit people coming out of the backfield and hit wide receivers and tight ends on crossing patterns.
And, Coach, if I could, just 1 second, Billy, I know you're ready to get after it here. They're going to run a wing tee, Ohio is, which is a radical departure from what Masciarelli and some of these skilled people are used to. You know,
Absolutely.
Brinker's been running out of the eye,
right.
and you've got a lot of adaptation that these Ohio offensive players are going to have in this game, Bill.
Well, we get ready to kick things off. Kicking off for West Virginia, wearing number 1 from Wheeling Park High School. That's Brian Schell as we take a look at the southpaw out of Bellaire. Ty Masciarelli loosening up. He'll have his first offensive series after this kick back deep for Ohio. Chad Brinker stands at the goal line. He is accompanied by Jeff Wright from East Liverpool. And on the far side of the field, Colin Hardwick, I believe that is. Or check that. That is DeMart Jackson. And Jackson across the 25-yard line and out to the 29-yard line, and Ohio will take over 1st and 10 from the 29.
It'll be interesting to see, you know, what Coach Thayer wants to do here, see if he opens it up right away. He's been quoted in the papers saying that, you know, they're going to play a wide-open type game. So we'll see what he does here on this first series from their own 28-yard line.
Ty Masciarelli under center. There's Brinker in the eye, and you give it to the big guy. The horse has it. He's across the 36 out to the 37-yard line. Chad Brinker, I talked to his head coach, Bob Thayer, earlier in the week, gentlemen. I said, what's the first play? He goes, we're going to go over tackle. Let's take a look at your starting lineup. Ty Masciarelli is your quarterback, and that is a look at the rest of the backs and receivers for Ohio. The line up front, a good one, a little bit banged up, a few injuries we'll talk about in just a moment, but it's a solid offensive line as Ohio faces 2nd down and 2. Clint Lekanudos in motion, handoff to Brinker again, and he is going to be close to 1st down yardage. He may not have it.
I tell you, it's probably close enough that they're going to probably measure it, Bill. He's very, very close to the 38-yard line.
Take a look at
the spot that they got right there. I don't think that he got it.
Oh, they give it to him.
Well,
they didn't even measure. First down, we take a look at the defense, the defensive line that will be charged with trying to stop this potent offense. The linebackers, we take a look at another fine group, all-star athletes across the board, obviously, and the defensive backfield, they will be tested by Ty Masciarelli in the passing game of Ohio. Right now, 1st and 10 from the Ohio 38-yard line, just underway, 10:55 to go, opening quarter of the game. Inside handoff to Brinker and nothing doing. Coming through quickly for West Virginia wearing number 54. Chris.
No flags.
Oh, we have a flag on the play.
Is there a flag?
There is. That's what
and there should have been.
I'm surprised there isn't any.
Matthew Morandi from Wheeling Park, the first one to get Brinker in the backfield, and will bring up second down and long.
That works out good for West Virginia right there, because actually I think Ohio probably jumped early and would have been assessed 5 yards. It'd be first down in about 15, and this helps West Virginia because it's still 2nd and 13.
Second and long, Masciarelli outside and a little bit too far. Trying to make the reception there, Richie Matarkowski, his teammate from Bellaire. And how many times in an all-star game do you see two players that are quarterback receiver tend to hook up a lot because they know each other a little bit better?
That's right. Richie that time was trying to run a quick out pattern, and ball was just a little too wide. Here it is on a replay, and just a three-step drop by Ty Masciarelli, and right there you can see that it's just a little bit too wide. Richie was able to get a hand on it, but not come down with the ball, so it's going to bring up 3rd and about 13.
Colin Hardwick, number 85, split to the far side. Wing to the near side with Lekanudos as your wing. Masciarelli, little screen Brinker, and he's got a couple of blockers out in front of him. Brinker cuts in and out of traffic, and he'll have a first down at midfield for Ohio. And a well-conceived play and nice touch by Masciarelli, and he got it to him quickly enough where he had the opportunity to move.
He had an awful lot of running room right from the beginning. After the reception, he had some blockers out in front of him. There it is right here. He's got 3 blockers out in front of him. His interior lineman, big number 54, is out there trying to throw a block for him. That's Chris Davis from East Liverpool, and you can see the power that Brinker is able to run with. He runs through that tackler and is able to get the first down at about the 49-yard line.
Ball's on the ground. Joe Lekanudos jumps on it, and he will be taken down for a loss in the backfield. Just a mix-up between Masciarelli and Lekanudos. Lekanudos out of Indian Creek High School.
Notice, if you will, the fans that are watching the game on the live telecast right here, that in this wing T offense, Ohio's got 10 guys that are packed in pretty close in around the box, and only 1 guy split out. And that's not what Masciarelli's accustomed to seeing when he steps under center. He's used to seeing guys spread out all over the football field. So here it is again. You can see where they've got 10 guys right in the box there.
So Masciarelli's throw down the sideline, looking for Jeff Wright from East Liverpool, and a little too long. Good coverage as the safety and defensive backs work well together there, blanketing right down the sideline.
Tommy DeSerio from Brook was on the coverage right there.
Joey Filberto also.
I talked to Coach Santilli before the game. He's an assistant coach for West Virginia, and he told me that they were going to be a lot in their what they call cover 2, which is man coverage with a free safety. So you're going to see their corners in man coverage, and Filberto, the free safety, is going to be able to help out on either side where the ball is thrown. So he'll be roaming across the middle of the field.
Third and 13. And we have a whistle, and it's going to be a flag, and it comes in very quickly, and we'll take a look at what the call is. That will set Ohio back.
Preliminary indication the referee will give right here. False start on Ohio.
Before that play was whistled dead, I wanted to mention that Colin Hardwick from Caddis checked into the ball game, number 85, and he splits to the near side. And Clint Lekanudos in from Bellaire, and he is your wing. In the backfield, Brinker and Lekanudos. Masciarelli under center on 3rd and long for Ohio, and Lekanudos in motion. Masciarelli downfield, has a man open, reception made at the 40-yard line, 41, and it'll be very, very close to a first down for Ohio. On the reception, number 29, Matt Penal from St. Clairsville, a 6'2", 190-pound target. He found the open spot.
But it was a crossing pattern by the tight end coming from the opposite side of the field. Masciarelli is rolling out this way and waits until Benal gets open. He finds the crack in the defense and is able to get it up there. It's short of the first down, so it's going to bring up 4th and about 1, and it looks like Ohio will go for it.
Checking into the ball game, Jake Casper from Meadowbrook. Everybody in the backfield. Casper straight ahead, and he'll have the first down across the 40. First and 10 at the 39 of West Virginia for the Buckeyes.
Well, Casper's a load at 6'1", 230, gentlemen. It's going to be tough to stop him in short yardage.
That was on second effort. He didn't have it when he got it on the initial handoff, but he was able to bounce off a tackler, found a little crease to his right, and was able to get it up over the 40-yard line for the first down out of a double tight end full house formation.
Want to remind everybody down on the sidelines, Rick Terry and Don Sloan. Don on the Ohio side, Rick over with West Virginia. They'll be checking in with information all night long. Kelly Alexia and Jim Forbes also down on the sidelines, and they'll be checking in a little bit later in the game. 1st and 10 for Ohio from the 39. Pitch to Brinker. Bounces it back outside. Has some running room. Across the 30, 25. Little shake and bake. Gilberto knocks him off his feet at about the 10. He dives ahead to the 7-yard line. Chad Brinker with a big gain for Ohio.
And I'll tell you, when he got that pitch and got to the corner, the defense was there for West Virginia, but he made a little move, a little juke to the inside, and showed nice speed by bouncing it out to the outside. Here it is right here, and you're going to see where he wants to go. There's a couple of defenders right there, but that nice little move right here, and now he's able to get to the outside, down the sideline, and shows really some nice speed here.
He got a nice block thrown on one of the defenders, and Ohio's got a 1st and goal at the West Virginia 8-yard line. 8 minutes to go in the 1st quarter.
Hand off to Brinker on 1st down, and he's ahead, still on his feet, and leans ahead to about the 3-yard line.
Little outside trap that time by Ohio, faked the fullback over the right side and then giving it to Brinker coming back to the left. Both guards were pulling. Kick out block by the 1st guard and then a lead block by the 2nd guard. Gave Brinker an opportunity to get it down inside the 5 at about the 3.
7:30 to go, no score in the OVAC All-Star game as we take a look at Chad Brinker on his way to Ohio University, and he's still in the ball game, and Casper back in along with Lekino in the backfield. Handoff, Lekino out of Indian Creek, tries to get to the corner, does, and touchdown, Ohio! Joey Lekino from Indian Creek High School goes in from 3 yards out, and it's 6-0 Ohio.
Lekino broke a tackle, or a would-be tackle by number 10, Eric Berkheimer. That enabled him to get out there. It was a power sweep to the left side, and there was really nothing there, but Lekino was able to use the speed that he has and get it to the outside. Here it is right here. And right there you can see he broke a tackle at about the 3 and is able to take it into the corner of the end zone.
Couple key plays on that drive, but just as we saw with Masciarelli at Bellaire the last couple of years, 2nd, 3rd, and very long, not a problem. He gets them out of the hole.
Extra point up, and it is wide to the left, so it'll remain 6-0. Ohio on top here in the 1st quarter of the Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star game. And guys, an impressive drive, and you mentioned defense was going to be a key factor. West Virginia held their ground, but at the same time they gave up a few big plays that really hurt.
I don't think there's any question, Bill, that the team that contains the opposition's running game is going to have an edge in this game. And we've already seen Brinker get untracked in a sudden hurry. Now we're going to see what the effects of this hamstring thing are with Eddie Drummond. West Virginia get the ball offensively for the first time. Yeah, West Virginia's had trouble putting points on the board against Ohio the last 3 or 4 years, and they've got probably the most potent weapon in their arsenal over the last 3 or 4 years. Don, what do you got?
I've got a big potent weapon right behind me, and it's Chad Brinker. He's getting congratulated by his teammates. And this is the first All-Star game for Chad Brinker this year. He played in the Ohio North-South game at Massillon, scored the only touchdown for Ohio in that game. Now already in this game, he's got the first touchdown of the game for Ohio. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Don. We get ready for West Virginia's first opportunity to grab the football. Ohio side of the field is really pumped up. Lekino to kick off for Ohio, back deep.
Boyd and Adams.
And it looks like it'll be Adams at about the 3. Across the 10, 20-yard line, looks for a seam, gets one, and he's out to the 25. Critic Clint Lekanudos from Bellaire with the stop. Adams out of the Linsly School.
Good special teams play by Ohio.
Let's take a look at the West Virginia starting offense. Your starting quarterback for West Virginia, Josh Rine, and that's a look at the rest of the backs and receivers. A good offensive line up front. I talked with head coach Wayne Neely. He said it's a good group, and they've done well.
Look for a reverse or reverse pass on a first play is the word that I got.
Eddie Drummond, outside, seam at the 30, 35, foot race. It's going to be over if he goes, and a saving tackle made on the play by Nick Yorkovich from Martin's Ferry. He collared him, and if he doesn't get him, It's 6-6.
We talked about the two tailbacks, fellas. We weren't kidding around here.
Right.
This is a great matchup of two unbelievable football players.
There was a great crackback block by the wide receiver coming back to the inside, and right here you can see the fullback leading right here. Got a good kick-out block and gave Eddie Drummond room to turn upfield. And right here, number 7, Nick Yurkovich from Martins Ferry makes a game-saving tackle.
Remember Gale Sayers?
Sure do.
Didn't look anything like Gale Sayers.
Chris Butler split to the far side of the field. They hit the bone in the backfield, and they give it to Drummond, looking for some room. This time, bottled up in the backfield, coming up and making the stop. He played fullback as well and picked up a big first down. Jake Casper out of Meadowbrook. Let's take a look at the rest of the Ohio defense, and a good front line. That will be tested tonight by this running game. The linebackers, if the line does their job, should have a field day if they can get to the running backs. And the defensive backs, if they have to face these running backs and receivers on their own, they may be in for a long night. But it's a good group on defense for Ohio. So they will be tested, and West Virginia's offense will be tested as well. As we take a look at 2nd and 8. Handoff. Chad Pratt spins out of a tackle and dives close to the 40-yard line. A pickup of about 6 yards on the play.
This is something to watch, fellas, is that West Virginia is bigger and more physical than they have been in recent years. They've been overmatched up front a lot. But Pratt, who was the lead blocker for Eddie Drummond at Linsly the last 3 years, this guy is a football player and a stud at 6'2", 210 pounds, and he can carry the ball and he can block up front.
OVAC champion in wrestling as well as an outstanding football player. He will be a handful for Ohio. 3rd down and 2 from the 41. Drummond gets it on 3rd and 2, and with second effort, he's going to be very close to first down, and I think he may have it. And it looks like he picked up just enough, so about a 2-yard gain from Drummond, and he should have the first down.
Number 52, Ryan Costantini is there on the tackle, along with number 60, Richie Smith from Edison High School.
So look at Eddie Drummond, 5'11", 178 pounds from the Linsly School. He is on his way to Penn State. And you think, Coach, I know you're a big Penn State guy, you think he's going to help that program?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about it. Anybody that can run like Eddie Drummond at his size, may be a little factor right now, but the thing with Eddie Drummond is he runs a 4.2 40, which is flying. And he's just an outstanding football player. And I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him at Penn State returning maybe some kicks this year for the Nittany Lions.
And that's the big question about his future, is what does Penn State do with this unbelievable talent that he has? He's going to have to beef up, obviously, 25 or 30 pounds, and that may cost him some of that speed.
Unless, and the rumor is, he may go to defensive
Well,
back.
that's just it, Bill, and I think the kid has NFL potential and early athletic potential. I'm talking early round potential for the NFL down the road if he would be willing to take the shot of playing at the corner, and I can see some corners making a lot of money in that league right now.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, right now he has led West Virginia into Ohio territory at the 38-yard line. Rine sets up a screen, he hangs it, and Drummond about gets decapitated from Lekanudos. And if Lekanudos wants to go for that football, he may have gone the other way with an interception.
That's right, and I'll tell you the truth. They were trying to get the ball to Eddie Drummond on a little flare pattern, but I'll tell you, Ohio had it red all the way. And Rine just lofted the ball up there a little bit too long. We'll see it on the replay right here, and it just, Drummond almost had his head torn off.
You have seen Lekanudos for 3 years, Coach, and you know that any ball that's thrown out there and doesn't have something on it, he is a candidate to bring it all the way the other direction. He's done it to a lot of teams. Clint Lekanudos.
2nd down and 10, ball on the 38-yard line of Ohio. West Virginia trying to answer back to an Ohio touchdown. Little fake reverse, and Rine looking downfield, runs out of time and just throws it away, getting all kinds of pressure. Rine does a good job to get rid of the football. A dangerous play, but he gets the incomplete pass on the pressure for Ohio. Eric Kramer from Monroe Central, 6'2", 195-pounder. Rine didn't have a lot of time, and Ohio had that one pretty much smelled out.
I tell you, Ohio's getting an awful lot of penetration, and that's the thing that's really throwing a wrench into Ohio's offense right now. Here you can see the penetration that they're getting. They had somebody on Drummond as soon as he came in motion and faked a reverse right there. So they're really keying on Ed Drummond.
Delay to Drummond. Oh, he's got some room. and he is out close to the 32-yard line. Pickup of about 8 yards.
Justin Gosney made a great open field tackle. Was not faked by the movement of Drummond, and we'll be able to see it here. An isolation play right here. There you can see Drummond trying to make a move right there, but Gosney's going to not go for the fake and makes a great open field.
That's why Gosney's going to Yale. You saw the fundamentals right there. He wasn't biting on the fake, and he broke down, made a nice tackle. Look
well,
at this.
Here we go. Ryan Shell from Wheeling Park, one of the best kickers you'll ever see. This one longer. This would be for a 50-yard kick, a 50-yard attempt here for Brian Shell. Spots down, kick up, and it is just short. About 5 yards short, but I'll tell you what, a great effort from Brian Shell of Wheeling Park. West Virginia doesn't get on the board, but they give Ohio a scare. We take a timeout. Our score, 6-0 Ohio over West Virginia.
6-0 at the Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star Classic. Ohio with the lead. You just saw Brian Shell missing a 50-yard field goal. The first series for West Virginia, you saw the offense trying to stretch the perimeters a little bit. They'll run it inside, and then they'll take it outside. Eddie Drummond broke one big. After that, not much offensive success. Coach Wayne Neely wants to stretch the perimeters and open up the middle so that he can really unleash Eddie Drummond's speed on this Ohio defense. It looks like Ohio's getting the ball back, so we'll see what kind of defense West Virginia's putting on the field, guys. Back to you.
Rick, thank you very much. And, Coach, what do you think about that? And, George, what do you think? West Virginia trying to stretch the field and give Drummond room to run in the middle.
Well, if they're going to stretch the field, they've got to start throwing, to their wide receivers a little bit more. And so far, they haven't been real successful because they haven't completed a pass, at least not on that first series. Now, Coach Neely said they're going to stay with the double wideouts. They're also going to try to put Drummond out there as a receiver and run a single back offense. We'll see if he has a little more success with that on his next series.
Well, there's the key element right here for West Virginia is that Josh Rine is an excellent quarterback who led John Marshall to a state championship on this field as a junior. And he is a good throwing quarterback, and he has got to be able to complete some balls. Otherwise, they're just going to put a bunch of people up in the box and ask Drummond to go ahead and try and beat that.
Right. At
the same time, you look at Ohio with Masciarelli and also Colby Street. They're going to toss a couple quarterbacks at West Virginia's defense that have put up incredible numbers. They've thrown for nearly 5,000 yards in their respective careers at Bellaire and also at Bellsville. So Ohio may have a slight edge in being able to throw maybe with more consistency from what we've seen on the first two drives.
I agree, George, and that's a good assessment.
Richie Materkowski in motion, handoff to Brinker, and he's got some running room in the middle of the field. He'll head to the sideline, and Filberto makes a nice tackle at the 40-yard line, but that's a quick 20-yard gain for Ohio and a quick hit right up the middle.
Once he crosses the line of scrimmage, this guy has an explosiveness, Coach, that is rare and uncoachable. I mean, there's nothing but athleticism here, and then it's all the instincts, all the moves.
And you don't arm tackle this guy. I mean, you better get both arms around him and hold on and wait for help.
Handoff Brinker on second down. He's ahead for 5 yards on the play.
I'll tell you, good blocking up front by that Ohio line. Number 54 had a real good block in there. That's Chris Davis from East Liverpool. And then number 44, Matt McCain from Buckeye Local, is the fullback in there right now. Lead blocking for Brinker as they run those isolation plays against those linebackers inside the tackles.
3:23 to go. First quarter of play. OVAC All-Star Game live on WTOV9. And Ty Masciarelli says, you know, I don't like the way this looks. There's a lot of guys pretty close to the box. I'm going to take a timeout and talk things over with my head coach, Bob Thayer. And Bob Thayer, I'll tell you what, I remember the first head coaching job he had was at Wellsville. I did his first interview, and he was so nervous. Didn't want to talk on the camera, wasn't too sure exactly what he wanted to do. One of our high school football previews, which of course will be coming up just around the corner. But he has become such a confident coach, as he was then, but now he's more relaxed with the media, and he just seems to be a coach that gets the most out of his players and enjoys the ride.
And not only that, but he's so quiet and so cooperative. A couple years ago we played at Edison. Coach Bain and him got into a triple overtime game, and Edison won in the third overtime on a very there was a real controversial call. But you never heard Coach Thayer complain about the officials or the call or anything else. And that's just the kind of guy he is. He's very cooperative. He gets along well with his players. He really loves his players, and they love him, and that's why he's been so successful.
And this guy's earning a lot of respect around the Valley at this point. And I'll tell you this, he took Wellsville to the state championship game, and he's got this Liverpool team poised to do some big things this year.
Absolutely. They were a young football team last year.
Lekanudos in motion on second down, and Masciarelli will keep. A little fake to the fullback, and then he's going to keep it, pick up about 10 yards, and pick up a first down for Ohio at the West Virginia 44-yard line. So a 10-yard pickup for Ty Masciarelli, and I guess you call timeout, and you go, well, Ty, take it yourself.
It was nice ball handling by Ty Masciarelli that time. Put the ball into the fullback's belly and then pulled it out, and then just came off of that on a quarterback keep. Here it is right here. Nice ball handling. Everybody is sucked inside by the fullback fake, and then Masciarelli takes it off tackle for a good gain of about 10 and a first down.
Josh Nagy, your wing, and he goes in motion, right split to the far side of the field for Ohio. First and 10, handoff straight ahead to big number 44, Matt McCain out of Buckeye Local, 6'1", 200-pounder fullback. He had a nice career with Buckeye Local.
And he's got good bloodlines because they've had a good family line, the McCains at Buckeye. And it's another outfit that's looking for a turnaround this year. Back to where we were talking about Masciarelli, this is a young man who was a two-time first-team All-Stater in Ohio in Division IV. He's going to go to Ohio State. He's an invited walk-on. I think he's got a good chance to prove with his package of skills that maybe a lot of people made a real big mistake in overlooking this guy, maybe even including the Buckeyes.
Nice play action there from Masciarelli. Little pump, looks down the field for Matarkowski, takes a shot from Filberto, who celebrates. Matarkowski's going to write that number down and say, whoa, I don't know if I want to come across the middle with Filberto around.
I'll tell you, Richie has taken some hits over the years. He's been a wide receiver at Bellaire, and also as a running back at Bellaire. So, he's used to those hits, but it was a real good hit that time by Filberto from his free safety position. Masciarelli had a lot of time to throw. He was looking for Matarkowski running a crossing pattern, and ball was thrown a little bit too high.
Third and long again, and I think this is an important moment for West Virginia's defense. They've got to stand up, make a statement, prove they can stop Ohio on third and long.
Inside Brinker, inside Lekanudos, and he's outside now, and he's got a shot to get to the end zone. If he can pick up a block, he does. He spins down to the 12-yard line. From the 42-yard line to the 12, a nice 30-yard pickup on third and long, and if you can write that one up, Coach, stick it in the back of your playbook and keep it for another day.
Well, it tells a counter off a reverse. It was an inside reverse. There was a handoff to Brinker, and then Lekanudos coming off the wing, got a inside handoff right here. Good penetration by West Virginia, almost took that play away from Ohio, but Lekanudos was able to break a tackle in the backfield, broke another tackle in the secondary, got a nice block downfield, and then number 1 for Ohio, Jeff Wright trying to throw a block on number 7, Brian Boyd, but Brian Boyd did a good job playing off the block, making the tackle.
Pitch to Brinker. Jumps back inside, and a nice play there defensively as Brinker picks up 2 yards on the play. 1:30 to go, and off the bottom of that pile, number 60 for West Virginia, Phil McMahon from Brook. He makes a nice play as Brinker tried to reverse field on the West Virginia defense, and they make the play.
Here it is on a replay. It's Brinker on a power sweep to the left. Everybody blocking toward that way and trying to get a kick-out block, but West Virginia defensed it well, but Brinker was able to bounce back to the inside and picked up a couple. It'll be 2nd and 8 from inside the 10 of West Virginia.
Lekanudos in a wing, Brinker in an eye, and it's Brinker on the carry. Brinker to the 5 and just runs over a tackler and down to the 1-yard line. He was playing let's butt heads, and he just ran his man over.
And that's the type of ball player that Chad Brinker is. He's not going to try to out-finesse you. He's just going to find you, and he's going to run over you. This is the tailback counter. He takes a little step to the left and then comes back to the right, the backside guard and tackle pull. He got a good kick-out block and then a good lead block by the backside tackle, and then ran over. I couldn't tell whose number that was in the secondary. It's going to be close to a first down. They're going to measure it. Looks like it's going to be a little bit short.
Don Sloan, in an interview with Brinker, asked him to describe himself as a player, and he said fearless. And for 180 pounds, this guy he's chiseled in granite. And when he hits somebody, it's a physics lesson because he gives them some force that you don't expect from a guy that size.
And it's amazing how Coach Bruni develops backs like that, so many times at Martins Ferry.
Don?
Well, George, I think he is fearless, and that's how he described himself. And the thing is, he not only has that blazing speed, but he dishes out punishment. 3rd and short.
Handoff. Casper, he's going to lean for it, and second effort, he did. Touchdown, Ohio.
What an effort by Casper. Would not be denied. And was hit as soon as he got the ball, kept his feet moving, came off of a couple tackles, turned around, went into the end zone backwards. Great play by the fullback, Casper.
Well, West Virginia's in a hole 12-0, and they're going to have to figure out a way to get with it because this looks like it's going to be one of those high-scoring games. It could be high-scoring for both teams or one if West Virginia doesn't figure out a way to start putting the ball in the end zone because it looks like Ohio is going to put the ball in the end zone early and often.
They're going to go for 2. They're unbalanced. They have an end over this way.
Masciarelli will throw. Corner. Complete. 2-point conversion is good for Ohio. Colin Hardwick from Caddis.
I'll tell you, nobody even around him. They were in that man-to-man defense down there. They brought 4 receivers when Lekanudos came in motion, and Colin Hardwick was just able to get open. Went to the corner of the end zone. Masciarelli saw him immediately and threw him a strike.
We're going to take a timeout. Our score at the Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star Game, 14-0 with 34 seconds to go in the first quarter of play. And welcome back. It's 14-0 Ohio over West Virginia right now, with Ohio getting ready to kick off. We're going to head down now to Rick Terry on the sideline of the West Virginia team, or West Virginia squad. And Rick, the atmosphere down there, what's it like down 14-0?
Well, Bill, I mean, let's be honest, it's an all-star game. They're very positive no matter what. 14 points is kind of a hole to be in, but the offense is going to stay the same. They're going to continue to stretch the field, try to stretch the perimeters. They want to open it up for Eddie Drummond, and they're still confident that they can tire out the Ohio defense and still break Eddie Drummond loose on this Ohio defense. If not, you might see more of the arm of Josh Rine looking downfield for his wideouts, particularly his old teammate, Chris Butler.
Thank you very much, Rick. And the problem for West Virginia in terms of trying to tire out the Ohio defense hasn't been on the field except for one series.
That's right.
That's the problem, all right.
Kickoff out of bounds, flag on the play.
West Virginia will have an option here. They can either take a re-kick or they can take the ball. I think it will be out at the 35.
Bill, Ohio ran off nearly 5 minutes on the opening drive, and they had the ball for what seemed like another 3 or 4 minutes right there. So in a 12-minute quarter, you possess the ball for 9 minutes, especially while the sun is still out and it's hot out here. That's going to stress a defense, and right now West Virginia needs a possession to give their defense a little gas over there.
Let's see what the Mountaineers can do. 34 seconds to go in the opening quarter of play, down 14-0. They have it 1st and 10 from their 35. Drummond on the handoff. Drummond into the secondary. Drummond out to the 50. Drummond still on his feet to the 45-yard line. How about that? A response of 20 yards.
You talk about somebody that runs with a little bit of power as well as speed. It certainly showed that time. Eddie Drummond broke a couple tackles and lowered his shoulder, ran through a couple people. Here it is, a little inside trap to Drummond. And he's able to get into the secondary, and once he gets there, he's just so dangerous.
He's 85%?
Yeah, twice now, too. You've got a situation here where Ohio's thrown a punch, and Drummond has come right back on the very first play and thrown a counter punch. Now we got to see if West Virginia can come down here and close the deal one time.
It's a great counter punch to have.
Yeah, 85% with the hamstring.
1st and 10. Drummond again has some blockers. Ohio tries to string him out. He gets a corner down the sideline. 1st down and inside the 30. Well, they're going to mark him out of bounds at the 33, but it is another 1st down for West Virginia. A 12-yard pickup for Eddie Drummond.
I'll tell you, Ohio didn't have that defender too bad. They had a lot of people running to the football. It looked like he was going to run out of room over there. Then all of a sudden, he just, boom, turned a corner, threw it on the afterburners, and right here he's down the sideline, and as you can see, Bill right there, gets some real good positive yardage and enough for the first down inside the 35-yard line of Ohio.
Well, it was 19 years ago, almost to the day, that Timmy Spencer ran amok here in his last high school game before going on to a stellar career at Ohio State in the NFL. You're seeing two great ones duking it out tonight.
Chad Pratt, he's into the secondary and running over tacklers. Nick Yorkovich plays catch with his body, and Gosney at the bottom of the pile out of Indian Creek makes the stop. So a group hug on Chad Pratt as he picks up another first down after a 15-yard gain. And we have come to the end of the first quarter of play. It's been entertaining. Ohio has 2 touchdowns. They lead at 14-0, but West Virginia, for the second straight possession, is knocking on the door. Back with more live on WTOV 9 right after this.
Peter.
We have a very special check presentation to make right now. Joining me is Mary Ellen Wheeler from Wendy's and, of course, Sam Mumley from the OVAC. Let me take this time to say WTOV 9 is so proud to be a part of the Lace Up for Kids campaign. Sam, you have a presentation.
I sure do, Jim. On behalf of the Ohio Valley Athletic Conference and, of course, the charity football game, Mary Ellen would like to present this check for $500 for the Wendy's Lace Up program.
Thank you very much, Sam, and anyone else that was involved in making this decision. On behalf of Wendy's, WTOV 9, and the United Way, it'll really help buy a lot of shoes for the kids in the Ohio Valley this year.
And it's a great program. We're so proud to be a part of it. Thanks for joining us. Bill and Rich, now back to you.
Thank you very much, Jim. And we are ready to get back to some football now with 12 minutes on the clock to start the second quarter. It is West Virginia 1st and 10 at the Ohio 20-yard line. Some quick stats for Mr. Drummond. 70 yards in the first quarter.
Not a bad start.
Not bad.
On a 280-yard pace.
Gets the pitch here, bounces it to the outside, and this time Ohio is waiting. DeMar Jackson comes up from his cornerback position and makes the play. Drummond takes a pretty good shot, but there's another West Virginia player down at the 15-yard line. Can't get a number. We don't want to guess what happened to that player, but we'll wait and see, and hopefully not a severe injury.
That time, West Virginia had 3 quick receivers set to the right. They had a flanker, a tight end, and then Drummond was set over there as a power back. And they ran a quick flip, trying to hook the end, pulled the tackle. But DeMar Jackson did a good job coming up and meeting Drummond before he was able to kick that loose. But he still picked up 4 yards. I really can't tell who the injured player is at this point, but we certainly hope that it isn't anything real serious.
Looks like it may be. I don't want to.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's game ball winning ticket number.
Looking at the helmet and the face mask, I was going to say it may be a Wheeling Park Patriot, but you just really can't tell.
Coach, you get into some confined space down here, which in a way negates, what is it, Gino Ochap?
Chad Clutter.
Chad Clutter. It is a Wheeling Park player. And Clutter is 6'1", 220-pound multi-sport standout at Wheeling Park High School. You get kind of into confined space down here inside the red zone, which in a way can negate a little bit of the speed factor, I guess, when you don't have as much open field to work with. So this is where Ohio, I would suspect, is going to try to force West Virginia to do some other things and see if they can. We got to take a break, right, Billy?
We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back with more from the OVAC All-Star Game right after this.
Ball carrier.
And welcome back to Wheeling Island Stadium, the Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star Game. 11:26 to go in the second quarter of play. Ohio leads at 14-0. While we were away on second down, Eddie Drummond picked up about 4 yards on a carryover tackle, and it brings up third and about 2 yards for West Virginia.
Ball on the 12-yard line.
Chad Adams split to the far side. Chris Butler from John Marshall split to the near side. Hand off to Pratt's the fullback, and he rolls ahead close to first down yardage. Yorkovich comes up and makes the stop for Ohio.
It's going to be close right here. If he got to the yard marker, I think he has it.
Well, I got to believe they're in a 4-down situation, down 14-0. I know they've got the strong leg of Brian Shell. He tried a 50-yard field goal on the first possession, but they've got to prove they can punch it in right here. Ohio made hay when they got the ball down into this territory and put 2 touchdowns on the board. West Virginia has got to answer that.
I agree. They're going to be a little bit short, so you know they're going to have to go for it. At that time, they got Pratt running east and west instead of him being able to get his shoulder squared up to the line of scrimmage. And once they did that, Yurkovich was able to come up and put the tackle on him before he was able to get the first down at the 10-yard line. So it's 4th and less than a yard, and West Virginia really has to convert on this right here to maintain possession of the football.
Well, I got to believe Pratt's can make a foot.
Ohio really is packed tight inside those tackles. They've got 8 people inside the box. They're in a short yardage defense.
Hand off to Pratt. He
I don't
spins.
know.
I don't know if he got it. Maybe
know.
with the lead. I'm not sure.
It all depends on what kind of a spot he gets.
It looked like Nick Lamatrice, number 97.
They didn't make
a
it.
stop. And they didn't make it.
He came from his defensive tackle position, a hard move inside, and he met Pratt's right as he got the handoff.
Well,
Here it is right
Ohio
here coming from the right side of your screen.
Ohio just sent the Mountaineers a message right there. That is the second time they've been down into Ohio territory with an opportunity, and Ohio's defense has turned them back both times, whereas West Virginia failed to do so given the same challenge. You got a 14-0 Ohio lead. Neely, I guess Coach Neely is not real happy about where that spot was.
1st and 10 for the Buckeyes at the 10-yard line. Brinker, little hesitation move, and he's not fooling anybody this time. Nice play defensively. Coming up big for West Virginia, number 85. It's Tony Rine out of Valley High School, 6'2", 190-pounder, and talk about a tradition in Valley.
Yep. And some of these guys are unsung, Bill. You know, there's a kid from Valley, and of course they've had a great run of it in the 1990s. But you look for guys from the big schools sometimes, then you get a play like this from a 6'2", 190-pounder that Tom West has relied on the last couple, 3 years. This guy right here was not about to let go of Brinker once he had the claws on him.
And he made a real nice play. Brinker, as we all know, has good speed, but you know, Ryan at 6'2", 190 showed some real good strength right there.
Colby Street in the game at quarterback for Ohio, and again, Brinker. Great defensive line penetration from West Virginia.
Number 54 for West Virginia, that's Matt Morandi from Wheeling Park, made good penetration, and then linebacker also inside, number 44, Jeremy Roberts from Brook, was able to make a hit in there too, as well as Chad Markinich from John Marshall.
3rd down, Coach, what are we going to say?
We're going to be conservative here. We're going to call a bootleg, but Ty's been told, you know, don't take any chances this deep. He's going to have the option to run or pass, see if we can get him to the corner. But we don't want to turn it over down here, see what happens.
This is Colby Street. We know he's got a big arm, and he can new quarterback, Coach.
Yeah, I know. There you go. See, we got him to the corner. He got all the time he wants. That's beautiful. There you go. Drop the ball.
He dropped the ball.
It was open.
I tell you, nice job by Colby Street. He didn't hurry, he didn't panic. He stayed back there waiting for Lekanudos to come open, coming across the middle. And I'll tell you, he threw a strike to Lekanudos, but just wasn't quite able to come down with the catch. Good throw right here by Colby Street from Bellsville High School. Here it is, right there, perfectly. But right there, Clint took his eye off the ball right before it came to him and wasn't able to come down with the catch.
This is a reprieve for West Virginia. They're going to get great field position right away here with the opportunity for a return, and we'll have another scoring chance. So if Ohio goes on a long sustained drive right there, I think West Virginia is in real trouble, but Mountaineers will get the ball back. You know, you change continuity a little bit when you start shuffling players around. You got to do it in an all-star game. These kids are here to play.
Everybody gets a chance to play. We get a chance to take a timeout while there's a timeout on the field. 14-0, Ohio over West Virginia in the 1998 Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star Game. And welcome back to the OVAC All-Star Game live on WTOV9. A good look at the huddle down on the field with Bob Thayer of Ohio. West Virginia with a big defensive stop. Got a little help on the incomplete pass, but West Virginia, if you're just joining us, trailing this one 14-0. But the running backs that are featured have done well, and right now we're going to go to Rick Terry. Rick?
Bill, just a very quick injury update. You saw number 58, Chad Clutter from Wheeling Park on the field moments ago. He is out with a re-aggravation of the shoulder injury. He will not return to the All-Star Classic.
Rick, thank you very much. Kramer just gets a kickoff and a fair catch called for by Chad Adams of the Linsly School, and not a bad decision there. You really have nothing to gain. Good coverage from Ohio. He comes down, they get it at the 41. Good field position.
Well, West Virginia, you know, had the big rush on that time, going for the block, and there really was no return set up for West Virginia. So Adams did the good job. Fair caught the ball. They have it in great field position at the Ohio 42. And we'll see if Coach Neely attempts to come out and throw a little bit, because after that first series, he hasn't put the ball up since that particular period of time.
Josh Rine, your quarterback out of John Marshall High School. 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line for the Mountaineers. Hand off to Drummond. Justin Gosney comes in and makes a fine tackle, taking Drummond down at the knees. No gain on the play.
Guys,
down and 10.
Justin Gosney's doing a heck of a job. He's came up with lemon trees on the stop on the 4th down play.
Chris Butler's trying to crack back here inside on the West Virginia defender on the perimeter right here, but he doesn't get his block, and he does very, very wisely doesn't throw a block to where he was going to end up clipping the defender. Gosney did a good job of coming up very, very quickly inside there and took that away from West Virginia for a loss of about 1.
Don, do me a favor. Justin Gosney's come off the field, and they are checking his hand. He is a little banged up and in some pain. Right now, Drummond back on the field on 2nd down. Nice run, spins, and he's across the 35 and down to the 34-yard line. Pickup of about 8 on the play. And you talk about close quarters and making room to make moves. He does it again.
It's fascinating when there is nowhere to run. He finds some place to slip through a crack right here. And one thing that surprised me so far is that Rine has not tried to hook up with his favorite guy, Chris Butler, which was a very lethal connection the last 3 years at John Marshall High School, and at some point I expect them to try that.
3rd and 2.
We're in stereo tonight. Swinging out to Chad Adams, and he will dive ahead for a 1st down. Coming up nicely, DeMar Jackson. Jackson makes a nice play, but I think Adams is going to have the 1st down.
Fellas, I've got the Ohio trainer. What's wrong with Justin Gosney?
He just dislocated his ring finger on the left hand there.
So he ended up bandaging 3 of the fingers?
2 of them together. Bandage him up. He's ready.
But I think he's back in there already. So Justin Gosney, he's playing a great game tonight. You can't keep him off the field even with a dislocated finger.
Thank you very much, Don. Yale is not only getting a smart student athlete, but a tough student athlete.
That's right.
Well, we have another timeout down on the field. West Virginia taking the timeout with 7:15 to go in the 2nd quarter of play. We'll take a timeout from the OVAC All-Star game. West Virginia trails at 14-0. Back with more after this. And welcome back to Wheeling Island Stadium. Bill Phillips, the coach, Rich Walensky, George Kellis, Don Sloan, Rick Terry, Kelly Alexia, Jim Forbes here at the OVAC All-Star game. And we talk about a cast of thousands. That's about it right there.
Thank you.
If we could have found a way to get the kitchen sink out of the kitchen, we would have brought it with us. 1st and 10 for West Virginia. Ball spotted at the 31-yard line of Ohio as West Virginia looking to get their 1st score of the game. Drummond, and coming through quickly is Kramer from Monroe Central. He's got a little trash talk with him as he brings him to the backfield.
There is one of the most versatile and probably underrated players in this game, Eric Kramer. This is a guy that made an impact as a sophomore at Monroe Central, has done so many things on both sides of does it all. I mean, here, special teams, punts, kicks, you name it. This is a kid who, when they had a problem at quarterback, he went from tailback to quarterback, then back to tailback between his sophomore and senior seasons. Can do all kinds of things to help a football team.
I tell you, great penetration that time from his inside linebacker position.
Loss of 4 on the play. 2nd down and 14 from the 35. Rine to throw, backside pressure, looking to set up the screen to Drummond. Great leaping catch, but nothing doing. Kramer there again. Another loss, this time of 5 yards, back to the 40-yard line, and West Virginia headed in the wrong direction, primarily because of the play of one player, Eric Kramer, on the last 2 downs.
I tell you, he didn't have time really to set up. He's trying to set up a screen and got great pressure from the right side. Here you can see it coming, number 82, number 67 for Ohio.
Craig Campbell of Barnesville was the first guy back there, number 82. What
Brad
was he?
DeHaze from Cambridge.
Guys, the Ohio coaches are yelling, watch the draw, watch the draw.
3rd and 19 from the 40. Pump fake. Rine, no time, and he's going to be taken down. Coming through for Ohio, back at the 49-yard line on the play, Brad DeHaze from Cambridge gets the sack.
I tell you, they're just pinning their ears back and coming. Those front 4 coming real hard, and the 4 linebackers, 2 inside and the 2 outside linebackers, just doing a good job of playing from sideline to sideline.
That's a Guernsey County moose right there at 6'3", 230. Brad DeHaze, West Virginia's offense in reverse. They missed a real chance right there.
Sure did.
And,
they had great field position,
They
George.
missed too many chances, actually, in a 14-0 deficit that they faced.
Chad Pratt's with a kick. Bouncing football. DeMar Jackson from Caddis will field it. Breaks a tackle. Still on his feet across the 15-yard line and out to the 17. A little dangerous return, but he pays off for him as he picks up about 5 or 6 yards on the return, and Ohio will take over 1st and 10 from their own 16.5-yard line.
Good open field tackle that time by number 46, Gary Morris from Brook, 6'5", 185. Did a good job of getting down there, and
there's Wayne Neely.
DeMar Jackson has great speed.
He's got a guy that just might distinguish himself in this game a year from tonight.
Right.
A fellow named Quincy Wilson. You want to keep an eye on him this year.
Coach and I had an opportunity to see him in one of the Weir playoff games, and did he put on a show over at Brook High School?
Bad conditions, too.
Colby Street looks to throw again, has McCain wide open at the 20, 25, 30, 1st down and more, out to about the 36-yard line.
Well-conceived play out of that wing T offense. Jeremy Roberts from Brook makes his tackle on McCain. A lot of play action faking in the backfield. Here it is here, and Colby Street comes out there. As you can see, he gets his shoulder squared away. It's really hard for a right-hander to throw going to his left, and McCain was wide open, made a good catch, and was able to get it upfield for good positive yardage out to about the 36-yard line. It's a gain of about 20.
Brinker. Oh, open field at the 50. Foot race. A little shake and bake. He's forced out of bounds at about the 36-yard line. So give him a pickup of about 25 on the play.
Little inside trap. Here it is on the replay right here. We'll see a fake pitch and then a handoff inside. Right here you can see the guard pulling. Good kick out block. But right there he makes a nice move and is able to stay on his feet for more positive yardage in the secondary. Number 82 for West Virginia, that's Brett Pettinger from Wheeling Central, makes the tackle.
Coach Thayer, 2 big plays in a row. Can we go for 3 in a row?
We're gonna try another bootleg. They seem to be playing a lot of man-to-man, and we're fooling them on the bootleg right now with crossing routes. Let's see what's happening. We're getting Colby to the corner real nice here. There we go. Well, the back went the wrong way. We still got him to the corner. Run the ball, Colby. Well, they played a little better there. What happened there, Dawn? Chad went the wrong way, and we lost the run fake there. But right now, we're fooling them a little bit with misdirection. They're bigger and stronger than we are, but we seem to be just a bit quicker than they are in the line.
Even with the changing of personnel, things flowing offensively.
Well, I tell you, Monday, we didn't know what the heck we were going to do in the offensive line, but our kids have really gelled together. And as the week went on, we felt more and more comfortable with them. And they really stepped up to the challenge. And right now they're doing a great job in there. As you can see, we're at a big size disadvantage. But like I say, quickness in the misdirection seems to be giving West Virginia trouble right now.
Do you know what this play is?
No.
Neither do I.
Mark called it. Let's see. X-blast. He's going to throw it deep. No, it's a screen. It's a screen. What an athlete.
Brinker close to a 1st down on the screen
They read
pass.
that screen beautifully, but Chad Brinker's Chad Brinker, and we get the 1st down.
1st down, Ohio.
There's one of those plays, gang, where there should be minimal yardage, if any, maybe even a loss of yardage. And there's Brinker upfield for first down yardage.
It's a great individual effort and a nice throw also by Colby Street. Right there you can see he breaks 1 tackle, breaks 2 tackles, breaks 3.
Third down and 1.
And right there was short of the first down by about 1 when that play probably should have gone for no gain.
Pickup of 9 on the play.
3.5 minutes to go in the first half, Bill, and Ohio has West Virginia in a pretty precarious situation here.
And off straight ahead, and it should be enough for a first down. Matt McCain, number 44, out of Buckeye Local on the carry.
Matt McCain.
See, that's been the difference in this half. Ohio needs a foot, they get a foot. West Virginia needed a foot, Ohio's defense stopped them. That's the difference in this half.
You know, one other thing that Coach Thayer didn't say, there's a shot of Matt McCain there from Buckeye Local, is that for the offensive line to pick up this wing T offense, that's not an easy thing to do either, because you got a lot of misdirection, which means that the guards have to do a lot of pulling, and a lot of these kids are not used to doing that. And, you know, they're used to being in an I formation where everybody just blocks straight ahead. So this has been a difficult thing for the offensive line to pick up, too. There's both the backside guard and tackle.
Brinker into the secondary. Touchdown, Chad Brinker from 24 yards out. Touchdown, Ohio. And I'll tell you what, Coach Chad Brinker told me earlier in the week, they had put in some I formation, and they had the eye there. He lined up in it, and he was gone.
Watch the backside guard and tackle pull right here, Bill. It's the tailback counter. Good kick out block, and then another good block by number 67 from West Virginia. That's Brad DeHaze from Cambridge, and he's been instrumental in several plays here late in the second quarter.
That's such vintage Brinker. I've seen him run that play for Martin's Ferry so many times. Once he gets into the secondary, he's one of the most difficult people to flag down that I have ever seen.
Well, as Don Sloan and I have said on Sports Friday for a couple of years now, Brinker had his blinker on and he was headed to the end zone. Lekanudos blocked on the extra point.
Great penetration from the outside. Try to get a number of that. There it is right there, number 60 for West Virginia. Was the first one in there on the block. And that's Phil McMahon from Brook.
We're going to take a timeout. Ohio rolling right now over West Virginia in the first half of play. 20-0. Back with more after this.
And we're back here at Wheeling Island Stadium. Chad Brinker just scored for Ohio. They now lead it 20-0. The Ohio offense clicking on all cylinders, and this guy Brinker headed to Ohio University, but looking outstanding tonight, guys.
The difference in the ball game in this first half between Ohio and West Virginia is Ohio's ability to be able to throw and run the ball. West Virginia, I don't think, has completed a pass here in this first half.
Kickoff comes down to the 24-yard line, and all of a sudden we've got a little bit of a jailbreak here for West Virginia. Out to the 43-yard line. A play that looked like it was going wrong turned right for West Virginia, picking up the football. Nick Roberts out of Tyler High School. He makes a nice return out to the 43, made something out of nothing, and a quick reminder for everybody that is awaiting to find out who will be the Queen of Queens for 1998. That will come up at halftime with Kelly Alexia and Jim Forbes down on the field, so something to stay tuned for at halftime.
Also have an attempt for a $10,000 kick.
That's not bad either.
No. As well as the McDonald's High School band with about 200 musicians from around the valley.
First and 10 for West Virginia at their own 43-yard line. Ed Drummond, nothing doing. Ryan Constantini from Big Red in quickly. Good line play by Ohio. Stack up the blockers and let the linebackers clean up.
That was the exact same play that Brinker scored on, only the other way for West Virginia. The difference is right now in the offensive lines of Ohio and West Virginia. Ohio's offensive line is dominating West Virginia's defense, and West Virginia's offensive line just can't seem to get any movement on that big defensive front of Ohio.
Well, they're not going to unless they start completing some passes,
You're
Coach,
right,
because these guys are just going to keep stacking the middle, and West Virginia's got to throw the ball.
Rine to throw incomplete. In and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Chris Butler.
It was there. It was wide open. Butler running a slant pattern real hard to the inside. Rine just a little bit too high with the ball on this one right here. you want to make sure that you get the ball down where you can handle it, because normally they're going to get hit as soon as they get the ball.
One thing that's really hard to evaluate when you're coming into these games is how the interior line play is going to be. And we know the skilled people.
Sure.
We just have no idea how, as a unit, an offense or defensive line is going to play. And usually that determines the outcome in these things.
Great catch by Drummond on the screen. Not enough room to do a lot of work, but he did get about 5 yards on the reception. But it'll leave West Virginia 3rd and long, and they will kick the football away to Ohio with 2:08 to go in the second quarter of play.
That was a pretty good catch by Drummond that time. It was a one-hand grab, and it looked like it was going to go incomplete. There's Rine right here, and the ball is a little bit high, but a nice catch right there. Good, shown good hands by Eddie Drummond that time.
I'm sure Coach Paterno at Penn State will like to see that tape of the nice hands.
I'm sure.
Chad Pratt's to do the kicking for West Virginia. He's out of Linsly. DeMar Jackson and Jeff Wright back deep for Ohio at about the 15-yard line. Kick is partially blocked. It comes down at the 40 and will roll dead at the 36, and everyone from Ohio staying away, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Ohio at the 36-yard line. We'll take a timeout. Back with more from the OVAC All-Star Game right after this. And welcome back to the OVAC All-Star Game. Exactly 2 minutes to go in the first half of play. Ohio leads at 20-0 over West Virginia. And it is just an absolutely perfect night for our ball game. And right now we're going to take an opportunity to go down to Rick Terry on the far sideline. Rick, what do you have for us?
Well, Bill, the defensive coach has told me they're not going to make many changes, even though they're down 20-0. No changes in the defense, really. They've continued to, they've run a zone for most of the game, and they're trying to pinch the tackles inside. The coaches tell me they will continue to run that zone defense and try and get something going for the offense and try and hold Ohio in some skimpy field position, but it hasn't worked so far.
Thank you very much, Rick. Ohio faced with a 1st and 10 from their own 36-yard line, and they have 4 receivers in the game, and they decide to give it to Chad Brinker, and he is going to race for the sideline. They stretch the field. He has running room, and he has 15 or 16 yards on the play.
Well, when you see Chad Markinich, an interior lineman at 6'2", 235, is the only guy trying to pursue him to the outside, I think Brinker's going to win that foot race a rather sizable percentage of the time.
You're right, George. And what's happening is that West Virginia, their defensive coaches may say that they're playing zone, but they're playing man-to-man, and when those receivers push off over there, that gives Brinker an awful lot of room to run once he is able to get around the corner. And again, the offensive line does a great job of getting everybody pinned inside.
Fellas, I'm with Coach Bob Thayer of Ohio. Coach, what are we going to see on this play?
We're going 2-minute offense here, and Ty, there he goes, taking one on his own. We're going to try a 2-minute offense here. Let these kids show what they can do, get the receivers in the game. And Coach Pissarro is calling the plays from the sideline. Let me see if I can. Okay, he's going to run a sweep with Brinker to the right.
Your 2-minute
No,
offense.
I'm sorry. This is a trap to Brinker. This is a trap to Brinker. Right? No, this is our 2-minute offense.
I thought you threw the ball in the 2-minute offense.
Well, this is you're talking to an old wing T guy. I mean, things change slow, but I'm letting them have a little fun here. Coach Pissarro wanted to put this in, and we certainly have the people to do it.
Well, a quick
He's going to run a sweep to Brinker to the right here.
Quick total on Chad Brinker. Our stat man, Tony Macedonia, says he has 143 yards so far here in the first half of play. No gain there, so it'll stay the same.
No, that's all right. He'll get going.
He'll pick up the pace, but right now, unofficially, 143 yards, and I had Tony working feverishly on his calculator to get that added up, and he comes up with 143, and that's not a bad half.
That's not bad. It's not a bad ball game, let alone a bad half. Here's a pitch to Brinker, and wide receivers were looking to crack back, but good defensive play by number 7 from West Virginia. That's Brian Boyd from Brooke High School, able to make a pretty good open field tackle.
Boyd's a heck of a football player,
and
in another year, he probably would get a chance to be the starting tailback on a West Virginia All-Star team. But in this particular event, you got to go with Drummond, I would surmise. Fellas, you got a 20-0 game, 53 seconds to go in the first half, and Ohio's trying to make another move here. It's a long uphill climb for West Virginia, and that guy right there, Wayne Neely.
I think, Coach, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you take it play by play right now. You try to win every play, and if you do that, If you win the majority of them, you're going to get a chance to get back in the ballgame.
Coach, what are we going to do? We're going to air it out?
Yeah, we got a bootleg to the left. They haven't covered it yet. Let's see. We're going to try to get tied to the corner. We'll have a crossing route. There, he got him to the corner again. He's got his pick. There's the tight end. First down.
Good play call for Coach Bob Thayer and the Ohio staff.
Pretty good execution, too. That's
I tell you, real good. Masciarelli waited and waited and waited until his wide receiver, number 29, that's Matt Banal from St. Clairsville, was able to find the open area, and then he hit him between the 2 and the 9 for a first down inside the 30-yard line at about the 26.
Pick up of 15 yards on the play for Ohio, and right now they're going to hand off. Lekanudos running room. He's at the 15-yard line, still on his feet at the 10, gets a block from right. Touchdown, Ohio! A 26-yard touchdown run for Clint Lekanudos.
Inside counter, and we're going to see it on a replay. It's a handoff to Brinker. There's the backside guard and the tight end pulling. And there you can see good blocking by the offensive line, and Lekanudos is able to make a couple good moves in the secondary. Great block by Ohio. That's Jeff Wright from East Liverpool in the secondary, and Lekanudos takes it in. Here's a view of it from the back.
Fellas, Ohio only had 10 men on the field, and Coach Thayer, right before they snapped the ball, you were telling them to kill it.
Yeah, we were short of the fullback up there, and I was trying to tell Ty to kill it, and we'll get the right personnel in, but we ran the play, a little reverse to Clint, and he beat everybody. So, hey, sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes that's what you call just having great athletes out there.
Better to be lucky than get the timeout called, I guess, but 26-0.
Two-point conversion is good. Richie Matarkowski, the Bellaire Big Reds, combine on the two-point conversion.
And I tell you, I don't know if we have that on a replay or not, but Matarkowski did a great job right there. He went down, he hooked up. Masciarelli starts sprinting out that way, and Richie just waited until the defender moved across his front, and then he moved to his left, got the open area, got eye contact with Masciarelli, and Masciarelli threw him a strike for the 2 points.
This is what happens when you prove that you can both run and throw the football. At this point in time, West Virginia defensively doesn't know exactly what Ohio's going to do, and they're having trouble stopping it. And instead of being able to just attack, they're on their heels and heading in the wrong directions, and you can see Ohio's put up some big numbers here in a 28-0 first half.
Sure have, George.
We talked about Ty Masciarelli heading to Ohio State as a walk-on. Joe Germain comes to mind as a guy that a lot of people overlooked. He thought, I'm going to Ohio State. I'm going to prove a lot of people wrong. And he has, leading them to a Rose Bowl victory a few years ago against Arizona State. Ty Masciarelli, he's the type of kid that he's got the right attitude. He's going to go and he's going to get the job done no matter what. And you see the arm strength on the 15-yard out. You see it on the long balls. He's got the gun to get it done.
Most importantly is the poise and the patience that you've seen here tonight. But give the Ohio interior lineman credit. You get him rolling out to the corner, and he's got 6, 7, 8, 9 seconds to look for somebody that's open down there. He's going to find him.
Nick Roberts on the return for West Virginia. He returns back to the 37-yard line, and with 26 seconds to go in the first half of play, and Ohio leading 28-0, West Virginia will have one final crack at it. Eddie Drummond in the ball game. He'll be a tailback. Josh Rine. There's a look at the injured player for West Virginia, and that is Chad Clutter from Wheeling Park, and unfortunately in an all-star game bangs up a shoulder that was already a little bit tender. Butler and Adams split, delay to Drummond, and he has some running room. Trying to get to the corner, gets a block from Adams. It's a foot race, and it is over. That is the speed that takes him to Penn State. Wow. Touchdown, West Virginia.
Just like that.
15 seconds to go in the half. They just call a simple running play and hit a home run with it.
It was a draw play.
61 yards.
Draw play, and I'll tell you, he found the open area. Once he got into the secondary, I tell you, he is just so dangerous. He's got the move, he's got the speeds, those feet just keep moving. Right here, he makes a couple nice moves, is able to avoid some tacklers, makes a nice move to the outside. Now he's got a blocker out here, but there's two defenders, and he splits both defenders right here. Jurkovic has a shot at him at the angle, but look at the speed right here as he is able to run away from Jurkovic for the score.
That's on a bad hamstring, by the way.
Nope.
28-6.
Shell in for the extra point. It is up, and it is right down the middle. A bad leg, and Yorkovich has some quicks himself. He's not a slow defender at all, but there you see what 4-2 speed means.
Now, here's the good news for West Virginia. They've scored a most unexpected touchdown.
Lifts the spirits
at this
right
point.
before the half.
I mean, not only that, as I recall, they kicked off, so they get the ball to start the third quarter. So if anything, that ought to be a totally different atmosphere going in there than it otherwise would have if he doesn't rip off 61 yards right here.
Take another look at it again on the monitor, and this is a thing of beauty.
This is from ground level. And here it is, and I'll tell you, I'm not even going to say anything, just watch it. It looks like he pulls away from Yorkovich, though.
That is just flat-out speed,
yeah.
God-given.
Yep. And like you said, Bill, Yorkovich is a good free safety. You know, he's got some nice speed himself. He's made some great tackles so far in this first half. It's just a good individual effort and a nice play call by Coach Neely too. You know,
Jopa gonna love this guy.
We've got Tony, our stat man, back at the calculator, figuring up the numbers on Eddie
Just
Drummond.
blew a fuse, Bill. But he's trying to add up Brinker and Drummond's numbers. The calculator, there's smoke coming out of it. Forget it.
Brian Shell about to kick off. 15 seconds to go. West Virginia on the board. 28-7, Ohio on top. Shell is going to kick a high tail dragger, and it'll come down to Jackson at about the 17-yard line. He's at the 30, tripped up there. Ball's loose, but it is recovered by Jackson. Recovered by Jackson, and it'll be Ohio football.
I think that was a good call by the officials. I think he was down when the ball popped out, and the ground cannot cause a fumble.
Is that right? 139 yards for Eddie. And what was the number we had for Brinker? It was in the 140s.
143 for Brinker.
So unofficially, these guys already have posted nearly 300 yards of rushing offense. And it's not halftime yet, gents.
Not a bad start. Not a bad start indeed, as we have an official timeout down on the field. They want to sort some things out. That's what I was trying to say. 8 seconds to go. Yeah, well,
there was a remarkable comeback by West Virginia a few years ago. It was a game that
ends widen a little bit.
Oh boy, it looked like Ohio had that game in hand. 1993 game.
Okay, we got to play coverage behind it. Gets deep. And widen slightly because it may try to get a little toss on you.
That's Tony Colberto.
You're in for Tony Rine. Okay, now hang on. Big ball. Let's go, baby. We get to go back a half. Let's go. We get it back.
5 years ago was the miraculous West Virginia comeback with Rick Blake coaching from Bishop Donahue, the West Virginia squad. I'm going to tell you what, I still have to see that West Virginia is going to be able to do a better job along both lines of scrimmage if there's a realistic shot at any kind of a comeback. They have not stopped Ohio offense.
Interesting thing about that game, the next day we did our first high school football preview. First stop, Bishop Donahue, Rick Blake. Was he a man that was happy with that comeback?
He was grinning.
Didn't stop smiling the whole afternoon. Well, we have come to halftime here at the Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star Game for 1998. We will take a timeout. We will come back with a whole bunch of stuff. 28-7, Ohio over West Virginia. Back with halftime festivities right after this.
Welcome back, folks. We are down here on the field that the football players just walked off of moments ago. I'm here with OVAC Executive Secretary Samuel Mumley, and right alongside of me is one of the bosses at one of our very major corporate sponsors here, and he's going to tell us about a little bit of a contest that they have going here today.
Yes, we have 14 consumers here with us tonight that registered at their local Kroger store for a chance at a $1,000 Kroger shopping spree. And we're going to draw that winner here real shortly, and Dale Klee is going to do the drawing. And then I have Scott Harvey here with me who's going to present the check.
Okay, how did you get the finalists?
What we did is we had a box at each Kroger store, and what we did, we drew a name out of each box.
Are we ready for the drawing, guys? Let's see. Are you guys ready here? These are all of our contestants behind us, and they're excited. Let's see how excited you are. I told you they were excited. Okay, let's go ahead and draw it.
Okay, here we go. Mary Selinsky.
Mary Selinsky? Oh, we have a representative. Yay! And then And he's going to be presented, and you're on behalf of Mary, right?
Right. I'm accepting this on behalf of Mary. She called me up this morning. We just got back on vacation. Said, "Are you going to the game?" I said, "Sure." She said, "How about representing us at this drawing?"
How about going on a big shopping spree with her for $1,000?
I'll take a couple steaks out of it.
Okay, thank you so much. And Bill, we are going to send it back to you.
Well,
Jim, rather. Let's send it back to Jim.
I'm very happy right now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jim Forbes with WTOV9, and in just a little bit, we're going to announce our 1998 OVAC of Queens. And we're going to do that in just a little bit. We're waiting on them to open up the PA system here in the stadium so that we can begin those things. A lot of things going on coming up. We have the $10,000 kick. That'll be at the end of the third quarter. And also, we're going to give away an automobile from Whiteside. And we're just waiting on the PA system to turn on here midfield. Here we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jim Forbes from WTOV9. We welcome you to the 1998 Queen of Queens pageant. We're going to announce her in just a little bit. But first, we're going to tell you about something we do in the third quarter for another $10,000 kick. Hopefully this year, we'll have another winner. And also coming up, we'll be giving away a brand new automobile from Whiteside. Please make welcome to introduce our candidates, the 1992 Miss Queen of Queens herself, Nine's own Kelly Alexia.
Thank you very much. We're all glad that you guys are here with us tonight, and we have quite a little presentation for you all right now. Okay, we're going to start out with our Queen of Queens contestants. First, number 1, from St. John's Central, Butkus. Let's try that again. Lauren Butkus. Our second from Bridgeport High School, Danielle Wines. And next, from Martin's Ferry High School, Charla Prendergast. From Magnolia High School, Amanda Daly. And representing River High School, Jody Snively.
From Shenandoah High School, Amanda Masciarelli. From Wheeling Park High School, Stephanie Morris. Representing Linsly, Cassandra Horace. John Marshall High School, Robin Clark. Representing Meadowbrook High School, Cynthia Newkirk.
From Bishop Durbin. From Bishop Donahue High School, Latricia Durbin. From Wheeling Central High School, Aaron Bryson. Representing Tyler Consolidated High School, Deanne Beagle. And from Barnesville High School, Kimberly Allison.
Wearing the proud colors of the Brook Bruins, Carrie Gilkey. From Buckeye Local High School, Amy McMillan. Shadyside High School, Angela Richardson. From Weir High School, Jonna Coons. Representing Steubenville Catholic Central High School,
Brittany Stover.
From Union Local High School, Carmen Nucci. Representing the Big Reds of Bellaire High School, Ashley Kozlowski. From St. Clairsville High School, Catherine Bodis. And finally, from Weirton Madonna High School, Angela DiCaria.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 1998 Queen of Queens candidates. Let's give them a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing last year's queen, Melissa Major. And now, tonight's winners.
Winning Miss Geniality, Lauren Butkus from St. John Central High School. Her presenter tonight, Osiris Shine Potentate Robert Hall.
Presenting the next award is Ross Stoltz, fourth runner-up. From John Marshall High School, Robin Clark.
Now on to our third runner-up, Carrie Gilkey, Brooke High School. Her presenter, Mary Ellen Weller from Wendy's.
Presenting the award for second runner-up, Dave Kaler from Cameron Coca-Cola. Our second runner-up, from Bellaire High School, Ashley Kozlowski.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, our first runner-up, presented by Tim McCoy of WTOV9. Our first runner-up is Stephanie Morris of Wheeling Park High School.
And now for the presentation of the 1998 Queen of Queens. It'll be presented by Bernie Koff of Kaufman's of Wheeling.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 1998 Queen of Queens is...
From St. Clairsville High School, Catherine Bodis. Catherine Bodis of St. Clairsville High School, the 1998 Queen of Queens.
And this would be a perfect time for us to hear from Catherine. Catherine, what do you think? She's speechless.
Unbelievable. This is amazing.
And she's speechless. Ladies and gentlemen, Catherine Bodis of St. Clairsville High School.
take a timeout. There is your Queen of Queens. We'll be back with more from halftime right after this. And welcome back to the 1998 Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star Game. And right now it's Ohio on top of West Virginia 28-7. And we are getting ready to head down to the field to take a look and listen to the 1998 OVAC McDonald's All-Star Marching Band. And I can hear the drums starting to beat. So we will head down to the field and take a look and listen to the McDonald's All-Star Band.
Lekanudos, Jimmy Law, the trumpet duet, John Leonard and Dana Strohall. We conclude our performance with Elvis Presley, Are You Lonesome Tonight?
At Jamboree in the Hills, when a band performs extremely well, we say they smoke them. Well, tonight, the OVAC All-Star McDonald's Band smoked them on Wheeling Island Stadium. We're going to take a timeout, back with more from the Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star Game right after this. And welcome back to the Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star Game. At the half, it's 28-7, Ohio over West Virginia. We're going to take a look at halftime statistics and our highlights from the first half. Let's take a look at the statistics. And some big numbers offensively on the ground for both teams. 221 yards rushing for Ohio. West Virginia won 162 passing. 70 for Ohio, 3 for West Virginia, and that has hurt the ground game. It has not loosened things up for West Virginia. Total yards 165 to 291. No turnovers, and so far a pretty well played game. There have been a few flags, and our score 28-7, but the big difference here, the 70 yards passing, opening things up for the ground attack. Let's take a look at the touchdowns from earlier this evening. Ohio gets on the board first. Joe Lekanudos finds a corner. He's out of Indian Creek High School, and he is into the end zone for a touchdown. Later, in close, the fullback, Jake Casper from Meadowbrook, finds a way into the end zone. Then Chad Brinker, inside handoff to Clint Lekanudos, and he is gone to the corner, and the splash into the end zone for Lekanudos, and it was 21-0. Then late, 61 yards out. Oh, Eddie Drummond bounces it to the outside, and he is in a foot race, and no one is going to catch him there. And Ohio would come up with a touchdown near the end of the half to make the margin 28-7. We're going to take a timeout. Back with more from the OVAC All-Star Game after this. And welcome back. Our live coverage of the Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star Game in Wheeling Island Stadium continues with halftime festivities. Down on the sideline, the one and only Jim Forbes. Jim?
Another awesome performance from the McDonald's All-Star Band. Joining me now is Ross Stoltz with McDonald's. I'll tell you, every year they're fantastic. They get 4 days to practice, don't they?
Well, actually, they come to camp on Wednesday evening, and then depending on rain and all that kind of stuff, they've had 3 days, actually, to all be together.
I was looking at the uniforms and all the different things. That's a lot of money to put those kids and suit them up, and they're so proud to be out there.
And they have a great time, too, and they're a great bunch of kids. They're really intelligent. They're just a sharp, fun group to be around.
I was seeing you on the sidelines listening, and you have to be proud for the way they sound. That was just fantastic.
Yeah, we're very proud of our association with this. All the operators who contribute to this, we think it's a great investment back into the future of the Ohio Valley, I'm sorry.
Well, Ross, on behalf of WTOV9 and the OVAC, thank you for your support of this game and especially the band, because I really look forward to hearing them every year.
Yeah, so do I.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for showing them.
Oh, you're welcome. Joining me now is Vince Ceroli from Belmont National Bank and another great sponsor with this, and we thank you because without you guys and a lot of other people, this wouldn't be able to be put on. And interested in the game so far?
Oh, it's been very exciting. I tell you, if the second half is anything like halftime, we're in for a whale of a second half.
Now, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Ohio or West Virginia?
Well, since we have offices in both states, I have to be fairly neutral. I'm just hoping for a West Virginia comeback here, at least to make it interesting.
Well, I think we're going to have that. I really do. But you couldn't ask for a better night and a better crowd. It's almost capacity crowd.
Matter of fact, it's standing room only. If you look up there, you see them in the Owls. They're sitting in the Owls, and there's got to be at least 2,000 people around the perimeter here.
Well, thank you so much for your support of this game and for the athletes and for all that you do for the Ohio Valley.
Our pleasure, Jim.
Thanks a lot. Okay, Bill, back up to you now.
Jim, thank you very much. I want to remind everybody, there it is, the Battle of the States, West Virginia, Ohio, the All-Star Classic, the OVAC. I want to remind everyone coming up after the third quarter of play, a $10,000 kick. And George Kellis promises his shirt will come off if the kick.
Come on.
Oh, I guess not.
No.
Okay, that's only playoff football, isn't it?
I got to say this, Bill. That is as fine a halftime entertainment as I've ever seen at a high school football game. I mean, that group and that band down there was about as good as it gets. And you know, we go see the Buckeyes play or the Mountaineers play. It's amazing what these college bands are made of. These kids on a short preparation did just a tremendous job. And I've never seen it done any better.
An outstanding halftime show. Will come back with more from the Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star Game right after this. Ohio on top of West Virginia, 28-7.
Belmont National Bank, we're dedicated to your success. Wendy's, celebrating 9 years of 9 items for 99 cents. WTOV9, the Ohio Valley sports leader.
And welcome back to Wheeling Island Stadium. Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star Game. It shapes up like this, 28-7. Ohio on top of West Virginia. A big first half, an exciting first half, full of big plays on both sides of the ball, but Ohio able to capitalize when they needed the short yards to pick up first downs and keep drives alive. West Virginia, they had the one big play, and they got on the board late in the half, but right now Ohio in control. Coach, George, what does West Virginia need to do to turn things around, and what was said, do you think, in the West Virginia locker room, Coach?
I think in the West Virginia locker room, I think Coach Neely, is looking at the necessity of West Virginia to be able to throw the ball successfully. They only have 3 total yards passing, and if they really want to give Eddie Drummond more running room, they really have to do a much better job of throwing the football. They have to add that dimension to their offense. Defensively, they have to stop Chad Brinker. Ohio has been extremely successful running misdirection football and throwing the football as well. They have 70 yards passing, which is good for a first half in an all-star game like this. And they're not trying to throw the ball deep, throwing a lot of crossing patterns, out patterns, screen passes, and being very, very successful at it. So I think that Coach Neely has to be concerned about his inability to throw the ball in the first half and also his inability to slow down this Ohio offense. George, what about Ohio?
Well, and I think if I could add one thing, Coach, that the West Virginia squad really desperately needs a score on this opening possession of the third quarter, which could ignite a fire under those guys. You know, sometimes after you've had a halftime that's as long as this, I mean, the players, they've got to ward off rigor mortis. But the thing with Ohio is they're definitely established in this game as the team with better team quickness on defense. And I think that their lateral pursuit in the first half was probably superior, and that's why they lead 28-7. They just can't lose focus. I mean, the key thing for them is even if West Virginia does score on the first possession of the second half, they just have to keep going out there and playing good, tough, hard football and not change a whole lot of things, because they've been pretty successful.
I think what the fans need to look for at the beginning of the second half, we're going to see Ohio really crowd the line of scrimmage defensively. Being that West Virginia hasn't thrown the ball successfully in the first half, I think we're consistently going to see 8 people in the box, which is right up from tight end to tight end on the offensive side, and they're just going to try to take the running game away from West Virginia and force them probably to throw the ball.
Well, Coach, in a situation like this, you've been involved in some all-star games. You have Coach Thayer. Before the week ends, everyone asks a question, bragging rights. How badly do you want to win? Everyone says, oh, they want to have a good game and no one injured. What do you think the coaches are going through? Coach Thayer, he's in the catbird seat right now, saying, all right, we've got the lead. This is no pressure on me. Coach Neely saying, wow, I'm getting hammered. I need to turn things around, or people may be all over me after the game. What do you think?
I think that Coach there has to be concerned about his squad in a letdown, and we'll find out from Don Sloan, because he's got Coach Thayer on the sideline.
Thanks a lot, Coach Walensky and Coach Thayer. You've got to be happy with the way the team played in the first half. You've got a 28-7 lead, but I've heard Chad Brinker injured in the first half.
Chad bruised his chest. We have no idea how serious it is. We certainly don't want to take a chance with that young man's future, but the doctor, as a precautionary measure, took him to give him a quick x-ray, and if it's negative, Chad will be back and play the fourth quarter. But like I said, if there's any doubt, we don't want to risk that young man's future.
Well, how did you become aware of the problem? How was Chad feeling?
Well, in the locker room, he took a good shot and said he was in a little bit of pain, and the doctor was looking at it, and he said it could possibly be a cracked sternum, but probably just a bruise, but we just want to be sure.
Coach Bob Thayer of Ohio, Chad Brinker taken to the hospital. We'll try to have an update on him coming up later in the game, and now we send it over to the West Virginia sideline with Rick Terry.
Thank you, Don. I'm here live with Coach Tony Filberto, the defensive coach from the West Virginia team. Tony, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
What was the mood like in the halftime locker room? How were the players feeling? How were the coaches feeling?
Well, these kids are all-stars. They came to play. They've all come out of good programs. They've all been faced with adversity, and they know how to win. So they came out the second half. They're ready to win the football game.
What kind of defensive changes are we going to see in the second half?
Well, we feel we'll have a little more movement up front. We thought in the first half that our kids would be able to sit in our base defense and handle it. We're going to move a little more stun, a little more in angle.
Okay, continue to try to shut down Chad Brinker. He had a huge first half. He's got to be tough to stop.
Oh, he's a tough kid. We knew going in, that if we could stop Chad Brinker, we had a pretty shot at winning this football game. We hope to slow him down a little more this half and give our opportunities to the offense.
Okay, Coach Tony Filberto, thank you very much. Bill, George, and Rich, let's send it back to you in the press box.
Thank you very much, Rick. And West Virginia will be in for a surprise when they don't see Chad Brinker in the backfield due to that injury. And we have talked about it right here, and we think maybe the possibility of Joey Lekanudos moving to tailback out of a fullback spot, or they have a number of options they really go to.
That's just it, Bill, is that you've got enough depth here that Clint Lekanudos has played a lot of tailback. That, as I said earlier, Eric Kramer is a guy who could start in a lot of these all-star games if you didn't have guys like Brinker and Drummond out here tonight. And you've got Josh Nagy from Union Local, so there are plenty of talented players that are probably very anxious to get out there and show that they can do this thing too. Well, and there's a guy there that definitely can do some things to help West Virginia in a passing offense if he can get the connection from his John Marshall teammate. Look at this moon.
Isn't that beautiful?
I'm telling you.
Crescent moon.
Beautiful night here in Wheeling, West Virginia for the OVAC All-Star Game 1998. Bill Phillips along with the coach, Rich Walensky, George Kellis, Don Sloan, and Rick Terry, as you just saw down on the sideline. Jim Forbes and Kelly Alexei, they took over at halftime, and a fantastic job down on the field with the Queen of Queens and the sponsors and the band, and it's just a great halftime show. And coming up in the third quarter, a $10,000 kick. Jim Forbes will be down there. He was the lucky charm last year as they banged it through, did Andy Ford for $10,000. Will it happen again this year?
West Virginia's got some good receivers, Coach. I mean, Chad Adams is a good receiver, and I know Chris Butler is certainly capable of making some big plays with Josh Rine on the throwing end of it. Brett Pettinger had a good year last year for Wheeling Central. What is it with this thing that Ohio's been able to do that has been prohibitive as far as West Virginia getting on track with the passing?
I think the one thing that we saw in the first half was that Rine was under a lot of pressure. The offensive line did not settle in early in the ball game and being able to stem the rush from Ohio. And what they need to do now that they have established Eddie Drummond as a threat, a definite threat at the running back position, they need to look now at throwing a little bit of play action, faking to Drummond, trying to look for the tight end, crossing, or the wide receivers, getting into those open areas in that secondary. So I think that probably Coach Neely needs to go to the play action pass a little bit, take a little bit of the pressure off Eddie Drummond, and then once they get Ohio into a situation where they're thinking pass, then it opens up things for Drummond as a running back.
And if Ohio is able then to bring 9 guys up along the line of scrimmage like they did for most of the first half, that's very effective not only in keeping Drummond under control, but it's also putting a lot of pressure on Rine because they're getting some penetration and getting after the quarterback. So it kind of works both ways against every aspect of your offensive package.
Also want to mention at halftime, the 1988 OVAC All-Star squads from Ohio and West Virginia were introduced. And in that game back in 1988, Ohio won 12-7 in a good ball game. And George, that was a heck of a season for the Valley with some teams that won championships.
Indeed. In fact, from the 87 season, those players, particularly memorable seasons for Brooke and Weird Madonna, both of which were undefeated state champions, 13-0. Steubenville Big Red also went to the state finals, was beaten that year by Akron Buchtel in double overtime with Ricky Powers and company. Hopefully did we get a shot?
We'll get to talk about them perhaps a little bit more as the game goes on, but some great players from 1988, and they did a fantastic job back then in their 97 senior seasons, and tonight they were honored for their 10th anniversary of playing in this game. But as George mentioned, that was a great season in the Ohio Valley for football, with Brooke, Weird Madonna winning state titles and Steubenville Big Red getting to the state championship as well in Ohio. And West Virginia comes out throwing a Rine a little bit high for the intended receiver, Chris Butler, and it will bring up 2nd down to 10. And Butler a little upset with his quarterback. He was open and he wanted to get his hands on the football.
It was a quick 3-step drop, Bill. He's just looking to run a little out to Butler. Butler was open. They were giving him an awful lot of room, and the ball was overthrown for an incomplete pass, bring up 2nd and 10.
Adams split to the far side. Filberto in the game. He is split to the near side. Handoff, Drummond, running room. Cuts it back, 1st down, breaks a tackle to the sideline. If he keeps his feet, this will be interesting. Jackson against Drummond, and Jackson makes a great open field tackle at the 25-yard line. Drummond tried to cut back. Fundamentally, DeMar Jackson did a great job of breaking down and staying with the runner.
That was a good open field tackle, because normally what you see in a situation like that is the defender overruns the ball carrier, but DeMar Jackson was able to break down and make a good open field tackle.
Jackson, a brilliant athlete on a Caddis club that went a long way last year under Coach Brian Mays. This is something special you see right here when he starts doing these kinds of things. There's 3 guys there missing. Kramer misses him, which is just unheard of. And then Jackson just manages to grab and hold on for dear life.
Chris Butler gets his hands on the pass, and he is down to the 10-yard line. A 17-yard gain on the play for West Virginia, and that is really the first click that you can really say happened for West Virginia on the passing game.
I'll tell you, West Virginia is starting to get into a little bit of a rhythm now.
And they get in the end zone right here. It'll create a surge of energy into their enthusiasm level, too, especially for their defenders who really got to suck it up.
Good throw, good catch.
Goal. 1st and goal from the 10. Can't quite tell if the ball is spotted inside the 10-yard line and if they can pick up the 1st down. Drummond ahead for about 4 yards on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and goal from the 6.
Gosney on the tackle, strong safety for Ohio. And Justin playing with a dislocated ring finger on his left hand. He came out of the game briefly in the first half.
He's played an
he's back in
outstanding
there.
game.
Yes, he has. He's played a very, very good game defensively. Him and Jurkovic in that secondary have done a real, real good job for Ohio, as well as number 14, DeMar Jackson, as well.
Checking into the ball game, Adams and Butler, they split left and right. I formation with Pratt and Drummond in the backfield. Drummond looking for the corner, breaks a tackle, cuts back, and is bottled up, but still manages to pick up a couple of yards on the play across the 5-yard line.
Great defensive pursuit by the Ohio defense. Good force by the secondary. Ryan Constantini coming from the inside linebacker position, doing a good job. And here it is, the reverse angle right here. Also number 21, Clint Lekanudos doing a good job. Here it is right here. Lekanudos is the first one there. Slows him down slightly. And then good pursuit, as you can see, by that Ohio defense.
Well, how big's this play? 3rd and goal from the 5. Down 28-7.
Adams near side, Filberto to the far side of the field. Drummond and Pratt's again in the backfield. And Pratt's the fullback. Touchdown, West Virginia. Nice call from the West Virginia coaches as they go in from 5 yards out. Chad Pratt's with the first touchdown for himself in this All-Star game. And West Virginia has made it a 28-13 ball game.
They're looking for Drummond all the way on this one. And just a belly play to the fullback over the right side. We'll take a look and see the kind of blocking and get over there. Good movement there, as you can see. And good blocking on the linebacker on that side. Had him about 5 yards off the ball, and here it is from the back of the formation.
That's first time all night that I think we've actually seen West Virginia's front people push Ohio's people back into the secondary.
Shell on for the extra point, kick up,
Nails
and
it.
I'll tell you what, if he was in the 45-yard, $10,000 kick, he'd have a shot
wouldn't be
tonight.
fair.
We take a look at the scoreboard on your screen. The Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star Game, 28-14, Ohio on top. West Virginia trying to come back. We'll take a timeout. Back with more after this.
We're back on the OVAC All-Star Football Classic. The lead has been cut to 28-14 for Ohio. Coach Wayne Neely at halftime said what West Virginia needs is a big play, and they got just that from Eddie Drummond just before the first half ended, and they got that for him just after the second half began. Momentum clearly now resting with the offense of the Mountaineers as the kickoff happening right now.
He made a good point right there, too, fellas. You know, there's about 25 seconds to go in that first half after Ohio scored, made it 28-0. All of a sudden, Drummond goes 61 yards, and it changed everything in a hurry.
DeMar Jackson of Caddis on the return out to about the 21-yard line, and West Virginia pumped up on special teams. We'll see if the defense is pumped up and can come up with a quick stop against this Ohio offense, as West Virginia has cut the lead to 14 points.
Be interesting to see who ends up at the tailback position for Ohio.
Yeah.
Colby Street coming in will quarterback the Ohio team this quarter.
Coach Thayer, who can we see at tailback now that Chad Brinker's out?
Joey Lucchino will be our tailback here, and Joey has looked real good in our camp, hits the hole real well. We have a lot of confidence in him.
And he had been playing fullback, scored a touchdown in the first quarter.
Colby
here's
Street.
Colby. Put the ball away, Colby.
One thing that Street does not have is the great elusive ability that Masciarelli has. He's got good feet, but Masciarelli is a guy that might be able to get out of a mess like that. One thing Colby Street needs is a little bit more time, because he can hum it if he can see somebody open downfield. Believe me, this guy's been known to throw the ball 80 yards in the air.
I'll tell you, he was looking for Lekanudos down the middle of the field, and he just didn't have time to deliver the ball. And there you see him trying to escape and is unable to. Good defense by Tony Rine from Valley on that.
And off Lekanudos, he gets across the 20, but not much, maybe a yard. And I'll tell you what, West Virginia's defense feeding off the offense in their touchdown.
Well, let's say that, for the sake of argument right here, that West Virginia holds them and gets good field position. You got yourself an interesting turn of events.
Sure do.
And the one play that Rick didn't mention on the big drive, 17-yard completion from Rine to Butler, moves that ball down, and if they can click just a little bit, that makes that defensive backfield stay honest for Ohio. Right now, 3rd and long for Ohio on offense. We'll see if West Virginia's defense can come up with a big play.
Well, they're really crowding the line of scrimmage.
Colby Street looking to throw. Patsy Chiotti had him wrapped up. Street unleashes one out to the 40-yard line, and George, you mentioned the arm strength. He threw that from the 8-yard line to the 40 of West Virginia,
while he's falling
backwards with a man all over him.
So that's, if I could do my math here, that's 52 yards in the air, Bill, with on his way to the ground with a man draped on him. That's not bad.
Patsy Chiotti from Weird Madonna comes in, has him by the leg, and he just throws it, and he threw a nice ball. Wright stopped running, thought the play was over, and the ball sailed right over his head and surprised everyone. Almost picked off our man Del Bears. And if Del was aware, he's got great hands. He's a fullback in high school at Martins Ferry. He was a great blocker, but pass receiver, I don't know.
Drummond's back, or
back to return,
Adams.
Chad Adams. Kramer to do the kicking, and a
Nice
strong spiraling kick down to the 35-yard lines. Adams didn't touch it, or at least that's what he's claiming. Ball rolls dead at the 25-yard line, and it is West Virginia football.
That was close.
Adams is a pretty smart football player, and I think that if he had touched that, he would not have reacted in the manner that he did. But that's what we were talking about earlier with Eric Kramer. Now, there's a kid, can do so many things. We saw him make the big defensive play in the first half. You know that he can be a weapon for offense if need be. He comes in, kicks a ball, and gets Ohio out of a deep hole right here. West Virginia could have had great field position.
You're right, George.
Instead, they do not.
It was a good kick. West Virginia had a single safety back there, so they've got a 1st and 10 from the 25.
Well, as we get
Coach Wayne Neely, what are we going to see now on the offense?
51 lead draw here with Drummond. Straight up the gut.
We keep it on the ground with Drummond. Here it is.
Woo.
However,
nothing doing.
Not what you were hoping for.
Number 60, Rich Smith from Edison, was there in a hurry. Took him down.
Tom Poe, 56, also getting a piece of the action.
I can't even hear.
Rich Smith had a great season at Edison, played primarily as a defensive tackle for Coach Greg Bain, and really came on in the senior year. He's got nice size, as you can see, 6'2", 235, good student, and will be continuing his career in college beginning in the fall.
Second down, fake the delay this time. Looking long, Rine has Adams. Oh, and almost caught as he went up over the top of Clint Lekanudos, who had great position defensively.
I'll
good
tell
pass,
you what.
good attempt at the catch, good coverage.
But just as importantly, he had a man wide open on an intermediate route about 10 or 12 yards downfield, and had he spotted the open receiver, let's see if we can see. We're probably not going to be able to see who that is from this angle. But anyway, he aired this one down the field to his buddy. There, you see the open man in the left of your screen.
Now,
Was
Ted,
wide open with a seam to run downfield if he'd been able to get the ball delivered to him.
that play-action fake held those linebackers in there, George. That's why that intermediate receiver was open coming across the middle. There was no linebacker coverage in dropping.
3rd and 10. From the 25-yard line, Rine, quick look, Butler, and Butler has it go right off his hands, and I think Rine put it there, and Chris didn't extend quite as much as
little short arm right there.
He might alligator arm that one a tad.
I tell you, that was an important defensive series for Ohio because they could not afford to let West Virginia take the ball, drive the field, and score.
Not only that, a minute ago they got Ohio backed up down
Right.
here about the 10-yard line. Now all of a sudden Ohio's going to get the field position advantage.
Yeah, there's going to be a nice gain in yards here on the exchange of punts, George.
Chad Pratt's to kick for West Virginia. 6:39 to go. End over end, spinning sideways kick, a crazy looking kick. Wright takes it at the 35, trying to get to the far sideline. He won't. A group of tacklers just take him over, and he is down at about the 37, 2-yard return.
He's
Good
definitely
coverage.
down.
Definitely down. Everybody got a shot at him. Don Sloan was ready to run out on the field and
There's
take
a
a crack
flag.
at
I'll tell you something. This is going to be on West Virginia. I think the official was standing by a West Virginia player, and all of a sudden he took his hanky out of his pocket and threw it up in the air, so we're going to see what we have here.
Well, that's a real shame because this game has been void of penalties. Now we got an Ohio player we can see shaken up down here on the sideline.
It looks like DeMar
DeMar
Jackson.
Jackson.
And also shaken up out on the field at the 37 is Jeff Wright, who returned that kick. personal foul, unsportsmanlike against West Virginia. So Ohio with a couple of guys banged up. Don Sloan's down on the sideline. And Don, what do you have for us down there?
It's DeMar Jackson of Caddis injured on the sideline of Ohio. It's something with his bicep, and they think he's done for the game. A strained bicep or tendon here, so it looks painful for DeMar Jackson. I don't expect him to be back.
I wonder if Rick Terry has any idea over there exactly what West Virginia was flagged for here. I mean, obviously it's unsportsmanlike conduct, but I didn't see anything. It must have been something somebody said.
It had to be something that somebody said, because there were no Ohio players around this West Virginia player. He was just standing next to the official, and the official just threw the flag up in the air right there.
Rick, what do you have for us?
Well, what I have for you is that the flag was for what we might call unsportsmanlike language, which is interesting because the West Virginia coaches have one of their chief gripes the entire game has been a lack of sportsmanship on the part of the Ohio players. So somebody was bound to get caught sooner or later, and the yellow hanky flew through the air, fellas.
A little
Thank
trash
you
talk.
much,
I mean,
Rick.
it's all part of this thing, right?
It sure is. Right now, we're going to let everyone settle down. They're going to help Jeff right off the field. We're going to take a timeout for the OVAC All-Star Game live on WTOV9. And welcome.
And we're back live at the OVAC All-Star Game. I'm with Ohio trainer Herb mentioned a couple of injuries here. Jeff Wright from East Liverpool and DeMar Jackson of Caddis. Could you update me on both of those players?
Yeah, DeMar Jackson looks like he has a bicep strain, partial tear of his bicep muscle, and Jeff Wright has a contusion to the left knee, and probably will be out a series or two at the least, and may be done for the night if we find any laxity here. I haven't got to examine him yet, but DeMar's done for the night. So.
Thanks, Jeff.
I tell you, Ohio's really beginning to hurt now. They started the game with two of their interior linemen in street clothes, so they lost those. Two players have just gone down with injuries within the last couple of plays, and of course Chad Brinker is at the hospital getting x-rays, so they've lost 5 players off of their roster. They started with only 31, so they're down to 26 players right now.
The good news for Ohio, though, is that we're past the midway point of the third quarter, and they still lead by 14.
On first down, Mike Vizdak from Weir with the tackle. Clint Lekanudos on second down on the sweep, and he is taken down from behind. Linebacker number 54 for West Virginia making the stop. That's Matthew Morandi from Wheeling Park High School.
I know, George, you like him an awful lot. He's 6'5", 285. He's a nice-sized kid.
Sure do. I think I went to high school with his daddy, if I'm not mistaken. And let me say this. You know, we've got a lot of very high-quality players in this game. But now, as the flow of the thing changes here without Brinker on the field,
right.
Clearly you can see what a special talent he was. And I'm sure if Drummond was not out there when West Virginia had the football, they would have an extreme amount of difficulty trying to move it against Ohio's defense.
Colby Street, all kinds of pressure. He's trying to get away. He won't. Patsy Chiotti from Weird Madonna making the stop. Also in on the play for West Virginia. Vizdak from Weir, and a host of tacklers taking down the quarterback from Ohio, but Patsy Chiotti will be credited with the sack tonight. And, Coach, I want to mention those injured players you mentioned from Ohio. Duke Fort and Mark Crow from Edison. Duke Fort from Steubenville Catholic Central.
And I'll tell you, you know, this is supposed to be a play-action fake, and nobody took the fake to the tailback. That also, George, is a tribute to Chad Brinker. You know, because if Brinker's in it, they're going to respect that run first.
Kramer to kick it away. High wobbling kick. Short, but it may be effective. Takes a sideways roll, and Ohio needs to down it, and they do at the 31-yard line. So West Virginia, good field position as they exchange the punts again with 4:15
the time is
to go.
now, Bill.
Yeah,
the time is now for West Virginia, if they have the wherewithal to take control of the football game. Now, they're still down by 14 points, but obviously they have Ohio's offense doing some things right now. In the first half, they moved the ball at will. Right now, they're not doing that. And West Virginia's playing some inspired defense, and either West Virginia can make it click now offensively, or they just may not be able to get right back up in there.
Yurkovich is out of the game, too. Colby Street is in there as the free safety.
Handoff, Pratt. He's ahead for 3 on the play. We'll give him 3 yards on the carry out to the 34-yard line.
Good defensive play that time by number 52 from Ohio. That's Ryan Costantini from his linebacker position did a good job bringing McCain down after a very, very short gain of about 2 to bring up 2nd and 8.
Well, you hate to see these injuries in this game. It's just, unfortunately, it doesn't look like any of them are real serious, but just any kind of an injury to these kids right at this point is, it's really, it hurts to go out that way.
You know, I'm looking down on the sideline. I don't even, there's Yurkovich right there. I was going to say, I don't even see him down on the sideline, but he is there, number 7.
Drummond with a seam to the outside. Nice open field tackle. Drummond stopped at about the 38. And I believe that was number 28 for Ohio making the stop, Mike Garrick, and he made a heck of a tackle, and he's a little...
He sure did.
He's kind of working out the kinks on that one.
Another versatile athlete right there, Bill, from Monroe County. Mike Garrick was a terrific quarterback at River High School, put up some big numbers. They got him out here playing on a defensive side of the football. This is a pretty good play for a young man. Has to go in and take Drummond on, and
sure
stops him cold.
Good defensive play.
Pickup of 5 on the play. 3rd and 3 from the 38 for West Virginia. Drummond spins ahead to the 40.
I think he's going to be short
by about a half a yard. George motioning.
No, I'm saying go for it.
This
is an all-star game. What difference does it make? You need a half a yard, and you got Eddie Drummond. Ow.
The players on the field were even motioning we want to go for it, but they send in the punt team.
You know, Coach
Let's
Neely,
get a shot of the sticks, fellas.
Coach Neely might be thinking of that 4th and short situation down inside the 10 earlier in the first half, too, when they didn't make it.
Or do they try and draw Ohio off with a long count if they don't call timeout and then reline it up?
Yeah, that's possible. But
I can't relinquish the football in this situation, down by 14 points.
He's going to snap it. He does. Kratz has it blocked.
I see what happens here.
So a bad situation in terms of crowd reaction becomes a worse one as Ohio will take over. Eric Kramer with the block. Ohio gets it at the 45. We take a timeout in the 3rd quarter. It's Ohio by 14. And welcome back to the Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star Game. 1:40 to go in the 3rd quarter of play, 28-14. Make sure you stay tuned. The $10,000 kick is coming up in just a few minutes. On 1st down for Ohio, Ty Masciarelli had a pass called, and he went back to pass and dropped the football. I think he hit it on his leg. And, yep, he hit it with his knee, and it knocked it out of his hand. Alertly falls on the ball. Loss of 4 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 14.
He's looking for Matakowski running a streak pattern down the middle of the field, but pretty good coverage over there by number 7, Brian Boyd from Brook. And just had no one to go to, so that man-to-man defense on the corners with a free safety seems to be working fairly well right now for West Virginia.
Handoff, Lekanudos cuts back. He's at the 50, and will have a 1st down across the 45-yard line. A pickup of 18 yards on the play.
Excellent blocking.
Sure, and that is probably the pet play of anybody who runs a wing T, that what they call a buck sweep, Coach. And you can't run it any better than that with any more crisp blocking up front. You can see some big people out ahead of Lekanudos.
77, James Fisher from Bridgeport out there doing a good job of leading Lekanudos on that sweep to the left.
Yurkovich split to the far side. Wingback is Lekanudos. Handoff to McCain out of Buckeye Local. On the stop for West Virginia, Gino Ochap, 6 foot, 230-pounder. Defensive tackle, center on offense when he's on that side of the football. And we mentioned Ty Masciarelli, a walk-on at Ohio State, and he's going to have the odds stacked against him. But if he can open some eyes, he may get an opportunity. He had a pretty nice night at the Ohio North-South game, 4 of 9 passing, and played pretty well for Ohio in that ball game, and has played well tonight as the ball squirts loose, and West Virginia hoping that it popped into one of their hands.
There's a flag down there, and I think we're going to get a holding call, I think. Nope, that wasn't a flag. That was a beanbag flying out there.
Here's the thing about Masciarelli, too, Bill. He's used to, in his high school offense with Bellaire, looking and seeing everything spread around and having several options in the passing game to go to, and usually somebody's always open. The way they've constructed this offense, which is a true wing T, you really only have one, maybe two guys getting out into a pass pattern. That little drag over the middle with a tight end or a fullback, maybe one receiver going down the middle, down the sideline.
As a former quarterback at Farmington High School in Connecticut, that was our offense. You only have about 3 options, and that's it. Bellaire, you've got 15, it seems like. We have the end of the third quarter. It's 28-14. That means Jim Forbes is going to head out to the middle of the field. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back with a $10,000 kick.
Ohio Valley sports leader.
All right, folks, welcome back to WTOV9's live coverage of the OVAC All-Star Football Game. Any fans out there listening? All right. With me, before you kick, just a second, with me is last year's winner, Andy Ford. Andy kicked a field goal for $10,000. I asked Andy to come out and give PJ some words of advice. What advice do you have for PJ Baum? He's 21 from Bellaire.
Oh, just to relax, have fun, and hit the ball nice, and pray a little bit.
All right, we'd like to thank the health plan for sponsoring this, especially Dave Matthew. Dave, do you want to wave your hand for us? Folks, are you ready to see this guy make $10,000? All right, PJ, here you go, big guy. If he misses, he gets $500. If he nails it, he gets $10,000. So here. Yes, sir, we're ready. That's okay. Let's hear it for him, ladies and gentlemen. $500. PJ, that's okay. 500. What's this money go toward?
Car payment.
Okay, $500 is going for a car payment, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it once again for PJ Bomber from Bellaire. Thank you, health plan.
We're going to take a timeout. Back with more from the OVAC All-Star Game right after this.
And we're back live at Wheeling Island Stadium. Ohio leading 28-14. First play of the fourth quarter. Big 3rd and 6 on the 37-yard line of West Virginia. Coach, what's the play call?
All right, this is a big play, Don. We're going to run a bootleg to the left, try to give Ty the option to run or pass. It's worked for us earlier in the game. We'll see if they've made an adjustment.
Who's the intended receiver?
The tight end. We got him to the corner. Run it, Ty. Run it, Ty. Run it, Ty. Look, he's going to be close. Let's see. Let's see. First down. No, he's short. T, left. T.
Well, George, Coach, I'll tell you what, that is the one thing you're instructed from the first time you run that offense. When you're running a bootleg pass, you have a very definite option to run. If you don't see someone open right away and you have some running room, take off, and that's what Masciarelli did here.
I'll tell you, his option is either run or pass, and in a short yardage situation like that, unless the receiver is absolutely wide open, you know, his option is to run, get the 3 yards, and the first down. He didn't get the first down. It's 4th and less than a yard. They're going to go for it.
Look for Casper right up the middle. He's done it in short yardage a number of times. This time is, second effort. Oh, did he come up big there to the 30-yard line. He gained 2 yards, but they were the biggest 2 yards of the night.
When we were coming back from the last commercial break, that was Jake Casper you saw kneeling on one knee with in front of the Ohio grandstand. He is one tough hombre coming out of Meadowbrook High School in Guernsey County.
They're on him right now. I mean, great penetration by West Virginia, but he doesn't give up. He's running on 1, he's running on 2, and right there, there's a face mask. He could have got 15 more tacked on.
Coach, fundamentals, they must have him out there at Meadowbrook. You saw the arm go down the
yeah, that's
the
right. Work on that every day. That run on 3.
Well, there'll be a lot of people be running on 3 in about a week.
You're right.
We're going to get started. Might as well mention it now. Coming up in the month of August, we'll be all over the OVAC, bringing back high school football previews of all of your favorite teams. George Kellis, Don Sloan. I'll sneak out and get a couple, and we'll have some fun all month long as Joe Lekanudos picks up about 3.5 on first down. He came in to this series with 22 for the game, and he has picked up where Chad Brinker's left off, and unofficially, Eddie Drummond for West Virginia, 192 yards.
He's had some big runs, and he consistently has gained yards, even though, Ohio is really jamming the line of scrimmage. against the West Virginia run. But I tell you, Ohio's doing a good job of moving it on this series, and a big thing is they're taking time off the clock.
Inside of 11 minutes to play in the ball game. Option now with Masciarelli. He cuts back, and he'll be stopped after a gain of well, he may have the first down. He may have 6 yards on that. I didn't think he had gotten that much. Making the tackle for Weir was Berkheimer, number 10, who was in the ball game. Eric Berkheimer, 5'11", 175-pounder, quarterback, defensive back, and that is just the first time we've had the opportunity to mention his name tonight. But it will be close to first down.
We've seen the option from West Virginia tonight, and Ty does a good job of running this. Of course, the coach always tells you if there's any doubt in your mind, don't pitch the ball, keep it. And that's what he did. He did a good job of cutting it back inside, was able to get up near the first down mark. He's going to be short by less than a half a yard.
Matt McCain trying to pick up that half a yard. He just had to get to the 20, and he did. That should be a first down. They have it by about a foot, so it'll bring a 1st and 10 from the 20.
This is where you go back, and West Virginia had that 4th and a foot, and Ohio's had the ball since. And what followed that was a bad punt that set up the good field position. Any kind of a score here puts West Virginia in dire straits.
Absolutely.
And the bottom line is there's 10 minutes to go in this football game, and West Virginia still needs 2 scores. First order of business, though, is for that man right there and his defenders to keep Ohio out of the end zone.
Hardwick split to the left side. Your wing is Richie Matarkowski, McCain, and Lekanudos, and Matarkowski gets it back, and he is at the 15, on his feet to the 10, breaks the tackle at the 6, and before he is taken down from behind, making the stop for West Virginia, number 44, Jeremy Roberts from Brooke High School, but close, and they will have it again. First down yardage inside the 10, 1st and goal for Ohio from about the 7-yard line.
Nice run by Matarkowski. It's an inside counter. Handoff to the 1-back, and then a handoff inside to the wing-back coming around. The guard and the backside, in that case, the tight end, are pulling. And good job here by Matarkowski. Reminds me when he was a junior at Bellaire and a running back and not a wide receiver. He sure has not forgotten how to carry the football.
Just about everybody on the West Virginia defense took a shot at him, and it took all of them finally to get him to the ground. Matarkowski's not the biggest guy in town.
I guarantee you the conversation that is going on down on the field right now with the 2 captains, Roberts from West Virginia, Masciarelli from Ohio. You got the first down. There's no flag on the play, but guys, let's get back to playing good football. We don't need the trash talking and everything else that's going on. Let's just play some good football.
Tempers are wearing a little thin right now. Frustration starting to settle down in the West Virginia defense.
1st and goal, Coach.
Lekanudos, he's at the 5, corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Joey Lekanudos, Indian Creek. Ohio on top with another touchdown.
Well, West Virginia's defense spent a lot of time on the field in the first half when Ohio was rolling up a 28-0 lead. Looks like a lot of arm tackling out there on this series, and Buckeyes are back in the end zone once again.
It was a time-consuming drive on a part of Ohio, and it certainly took a lot out of that defensive unit of West Virginia. Right there you can see some good blocks thrown downfield, but right there Joey Lekanudos runs through a would-be tackler and takes it into the end zone for the score.
Good low-angle shot there from our sideline photographer, Del Barris, on the near side.
Trouble for West Virginia here, too, fellas, is that they don't really, based on the way things have gone for 3 quarters. There you see Joey Lekanudos, who did a heck of a job at Indian Creek for slinging Sam and the boys. West Virginia doesn't have the kind of offensive firepower with the aerial attack, based on what we've seen in three quarters plus, to mount a 3-touchdown comeback. Now, they're probably going to keep giving it to Drummond and hope he can rip off a couple of big ones like he did earlier.
That's what I would do. Give it to the horse. Ohio taking a breather, and you can't ask for better weather than this on this All-Star night. It's perfect temperature, not too hot. The humidity is way down, so that has been a help with guys. You normally see a few guys cramp up in a game, and I've probably just jinxed this, but no cramping up tonight. The injuries have been either resulted from hits,
collisions,
collisions, rather than I've got a cramp. You know, it's hot, so it's worked out well. The weather's cooperated. We've had a really entertaining ball game, and right now Ohio goes for a 2-point conversion. 9:29 to go in the ball game.
Hey, Mark.
34-14, Ohio on top. Lekanudos in motion, quick pitch to Lekanudos. He cuts it back, and he won't get there. Ball's loose. 2-point conversion is dead, and it'll remain a 20-point advantage for Ohio over West Virginia.
That's the same formation that they've used on all of their 2-point conversions. They were successful twice before when they threw the ball. This time they tried to cross up that West Virginia defense by giving it to Lekanudos on a run, but pretty good defense that time by the West Virginia goal line defense.
If Ohio holds this 20-point lead, and we have 9:29 to play, they would go up 16-10 in the series dating back to 1972. But Bill, you know, this really is a game that goes way back into the early part of the century and was discontinued for a while, and Rudy Mumley helped to see that it was resurrected. So I don't have the numbers on the actual all-time series dating back over half a century.
Well, right now we're going to head down to the sideline. Jim Forbes is ready to, well, he tried to give away $10,000. Now he wants to give away a car. Jim, how much stuff do you have to give away?
Welcome back to WTOV 9's exclusive live coverage of this year's OVAC All-Star Football Game. Right now, we're going to draw for a brand new automobile courtesy of the OVAC Foundation and one of the major sponsors, Whiteside Auto. This is the 13th annual car raffle. Joining us now is Mark Evans with Whiteside. To make the grand drawing, the pick will be Catherine Bodis, our new Queen of Queens from St. Clairsville High School. Go ahead, Catherine. If you'll join me over here, you can announce the winner. This winner will get to choose from a Pontiac Sunfire, a GMC Sonoma pickup, Chevy S10 pickup, and a Chevy Cavalier. They get their choice of one. If you'll read the name for us.
Oh boy. Dorothy Vudrovich from Mingo Junction.
Dorothy Vudrovic from Mingo Junction, Ohio. Congratulations, you're the brand new owner of a brand new car. Congratulations. Back to our live coverage.
Thank you very much, Jim. So Dorothy's going to be wheeling around Mingo. We'll take time
up and down those hills.
Dorothy Vudrovic.
Right after this.
We're back at the Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star Football Classic. Rick Terry on the West Virginia sideline. Desperate times. Are down by 20 to Ohio. Surprisingly not calling for many desperate measures, however. The only change really is Eric Berkheimer goes in at quarterback. You might look for West Virginia to air it out a little bit more, but the attack stays mostly the same. Eddie Drummond on the ground, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Rick. Little sidewinding kick, a squibber recovered by West Virginia at the 40-yard line. So the Mountaineer State will have good field position.
Drummond was deep that time, Bill, so I think they would have preferred him not return.
Yeah, that was definitely a line drive squib kick type thing.
He has not been deep on kicks because of the hamstring problem that we were notified of before the game. But down by 20 at this stage, they thought they'd give him a shot at it.
Bob Contrigaro, number 66 from Wheeling Central, recovering the kick at the 40-yard line for West Virginia. Drummond in the backfield. Berkheimer in at quarterback, and he looks to throw on first down. Quick shot to the outside. Butler hauls it in. About a 6-yard pickup on first down, and Chris Butler, that is his second catch of the game. He now has about 25 yards on 2 receptions.
Nice catch that time. Butler really showed some nice soft hands on that throw. Berkheimer throwing the quick out. Good for 6, but more importantly for West Virginia, it stopped the clock.
Berkheimer might be more familiar with what Weirton's coaching staff wants to do in the passing game than Josh Rine was.
Second down and
guys,
4.
it's going to be a trap with Eddie Drummond this play.
Pretty good defense.
Lekanudos, I think 21 was the one on the initial hit there.
The trap wasn't there, so he bounced it outside. Still picked up about 3 yards on the
needs
play for Eddie
about
Drummond.
5, Billy, according to our unofficial figures for 200 yards.
It is here, and good job of closing down the trap, number 76, and we've called his name a few times. The young fellow from Cambridge, that's Brad DeHaze, did a good job of closing down the trap, forcing Drummond to bounce that to the outside.
Pickup of 3.
About a half a yard short, maybe less than that.
The Ohio cheerleaders go bruiser, and that was
would be Jake Casper, yeah.
And he has bruised some people. I want to mention that the OVAC cheerleaders for Ohio and West Virginia are all-star squads as we face 3rd and 1 for West Virginia here with 9-10. Handoff, first man through, and that's going to be a first down for West Virginia inside the 46-yard line.
Jeremy Roberts, Bill, and he is a kid that, I'll tell you what, he's a tough kid. I've watched him a lot the last couple of years. 5'11", 180 pounds.
All right.
Just a relentless player, kind of a throwback type to the old days. Down to Rick. All right, Rick.
Coach Neely, you got yourself a first down. What's next?
We're going to run a play-action pass, fake the Drummond, and try to go deep with it.
Looks like they're airing it out a little bit more, guys. We'll see how it unfolds.
Nick Roberts from Tyler split this side. Berkheimer lets loose for Adams. He has him, and it's just about a yard too long.
I tell you, he had a couple steps on Lekanudos that time. Butler got behind him, and Berkheimer laid it up there, but just a little bit too far. He needed to put a little more air under it that time.
That was a good idea.
Sure it
to
was.
Try that.
Heck yeah. That'll keep those corners a little looser now. You know, they're not going to be coming up, you know, on the runners. Now's the time to come back, maybe with something with Drummond on the perimeter.
They're coming back with a slant. They're gonna try and hit Chris Butler.
Had him across the middle, but Ryan Constantini got a hand up and knocked the ball down.
I tell you, Lekanudos had good position on Butler that time. He was playing him to the inside. Butler was aligned to the short side of the field, so Lekanudos was able to use the sideline as another defender for himself and lined up inside of him and sort of took that slant away. So Clint was in good position to defend that, even though it may not, even if it wasn't deflected by Constantini.
Constantini has played a solid game defensively, a fine product out of Steubenville Big Red High School. Delayed at Drummond, nothing doing. Ohio waiting for him, and they take him down for no gain. No gain on the play. It'll remain 4th down and 10 for West Virginia as he gets back to the original line of scrimmage.
You're tuning in late. Ohio leads 34-14, and after a brilliant first half, Chad Brinker of Martins Ferry sustained a bruised sternum, so they took him for precautionary x-rays. Don't believe it's anything serious, but that's one of the reasons if you left for a while and came back, you have not seen him in the second half of this game.
Trying to hit Butler on a slant and go, and run him in on that slant, trying to beat him deep up the middle.
Rick standing close to Coach Neely.
Okay, we've got a slant and go. They're going to try and hit Chris Butler, it looks like. Berkheimer with the fake, and he's got him.
No, they don't got him.
You got it.
Ooh, Colby Street intercepts.
Down the middle late into double coverage, and Street returns to the 20-yard line. Making the tackle for West Virginia was Chad Adams. Flag on the play as some more talking going on between Ohio and West Virginia. But right away you could see that was a bad situation to throw into. Berkheimer looking down the middle of the field. Street stayed at home in his safety position and just floated over and created a double coverage situation.
Lekanudos had great coverage on him. He didn't bite at all on the slant. You see what the call is. There's a couple flags laying at about the 45-yard line of Ohio, and we'll get it all told to us here by the referee exactly what the call is.
And you just saw the difference in this football game has been Ohio's ability to keep West Virginia's defense honest with the threat of the pass, and West Virginia unable to mount any kind of a passing attack.
They're going to tack on another 15 yards for a personal foul penalty or roughness penalty against West Virginia, so that's going to place the ball at about the 34-yard line on Ohio's side of the 50.
Nice job right there by Colby Street, who shows you that
Excellent
he can
job.
D it up out there with the best of them.
Playing deep center field and just, didn't let the defender get behind him. Did a real good job of playing the ball all the way.
On his way to Youngstown State after playing 4 full seasons with the Bellsville Blue Devils.
Eric Kramer from Monroe Central has a first down across the 45-yard line. Pickup of about 17 yards. Check that, 17 yards, 12 yards.
Here's a guy
I'm
was
giving
I've
out
been
yards
talking
like
about.
candy.
Well, that's okay,
Take
though,
some
Bill.
more.
He'll learn a bunch because, again, here's a guy made the big defensive play in the first half, punted him out of a hole at one point. Now he
Blocked the
gets a
punt.
first down. Did he block the punt?
Yeah, he blocked that punt on 4th and short.
And nothing he does surprises me. That guy's a player.
1st and 10, McCain up the middle, breaking tackles and into West Virginia territory at the 47-yard line. Gain of about 6 on the play.
Okay, Ohio doing nothing really fancy out of this wing tee, just all the basic plays out of the wing tee, the inside trap to the fullback, the outside trap to the halfback, misdirection on counters out of the wing tee, bootleg action by the quarterback, hitting tight ends coming across the middle. So these kids from Ohio have really executed this offense very well for Coach Thayer.
McCain again for another 8 yards. And a first down for Ohio at the 40-yard line of West Virginia. And George mentioned the arm tackling on the last drive by West Virginia. This is a defense that is very tired. They've spent a lot of time on the field, and you can see them just being worn down by this steamroller that is the Ohio offense.
I'd be real surprised to see Ohio put it up in the air now. I think they'd just like to move the ball, run some time off the clock, maybe get down here and score with a ground game.
And avoid any more injuries. They've had enough of that.
Okay, for somebody that hasn't run the option out of that Bellaire offense for the last couple of years as a quarterback over there for Coach Magistro, Ty Masciarelli does a nice job at running the option. He can read it fairly well and shows some nice speed and elusiveness when he turns the ball upfield and runs.
What most of the West Virginia defenders don't realize, though, is that he never did run the option in high school.
That's right.
And you're not going to see him pitch the ball because I don't know that he's done that a whole lot. Usually he just takes off with it.
Eric Kramer on the carry, delivering punishment as he heads upfield for about 8 yards. Just lowered the shoulder and gave him the shiver.
He's a nice,
Still
strong
got that
runner.
little grunt there, Billy. I like that.
Gotta be ready. You know, Coach, you gotta give him the forearm when you come
The old
through there.
shiver, huh?
The old shiver, the old forearm shiver. You gotta deal some punishment.
Got to deliver a blow. Instead of taking
That's
a blow,
right.
you deliver the blow.
See, I paid attention to you, coaches. I was one of those kids that was actually paying attention, I think. Didn't help me, I was too slow.
There's an inside counter, a little mix-up that time.
That did not look good from start to finish.
That
on
was
the carry.
number 34 coming back to the inside. It's Josh Nagy from Union Local taking a handoff from number 33.
You work those
Eric
counters, and
Kramer.
if you're not used to them, you
That's
can
right.
get your relationships in terms of space a little mixed up very
That's
easily.
really hard to do because how many times does really in a normal, regular offense does a halfback hand off the ball to another back? So that's very difficult to do.
Matarkowski in at the wing, Yorkovich to the near side. Masciarelli under center. Option down the line. Pitch man is you can tell Ty hasn't run that option too much because he wanted to turn around and throw a pass. He wanted out of that situation in the worst way. That'll bring up 4th down. A loss on the play of about 12 yards. 4th and long.
Chad Markinich should have been a solid player for the Monarchs. What West Virginia is trying to do here defensively right now, Bill, is to prevent Ohio from posting the 4th 40-point winning effort in the series since 1972. Ohio won the 1979 game 47-13 when Timmy Spencer ran amok all over this field. In 90, Ohio won 42-0, and 2 years ago, with a guy named Jose Davis out here running the show, it was 43-21. So Ohio, on 3 occasions, has scored 40 or more points, and West Virginia would at least like to prevent that from happening.
See if we get a little play action here. Bootleg, there it is.
Masciarelli.
Hardwick in a corner.
Corner for Hardwick, has his man beat. Touchdown, Ohio.
Laid that in there perfectly.
There's the 40. And Colin Hardwick is one of those guys that's got that deep speed, and he just kept a step and a half ahead of the defense right there. Made a brilliant reception in the end zone, and the Buckeyes are up 40-14.
Showed a little inside move, you know, to give him the look that they were running to the right, and then he ran the corner out. And here's the play action right here. And there you can see Masciarelli looking for him all the way. As soon as he saw him, he pulled up and threw, and there it is. Perfect pass, laid right in there, and he looks it all the way into his hands.
26-yard touchdown pass from Ty Masciarelli to Colin Hardwick. And Ohio increases their lead to 40-14. Extra point. Snap is good, kick is up, and it is good. So Ohio picks up one more point, 41-14 with 3:56 to go in the Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star game. We're going to take a timeout. Back with the conclusion of this one after this.
And we're back on a very happy Ohio sideline as Ohio leads 41-14. And I'll tell you what, the happiest guy when Colin Hardwick scored a touchdown was his buddy, the injured Lamar Jackson over here. He was his quarterback in high school, and he said, you know, I'd love to see Colin catch a pass. Two plays later, Hardwick with a touchdown. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Don. A lot of celebrating going on the Ohio sideline with a 41-14 score on the board. They are comfortable with their lead and enjoying this one as West Virginia returns to the 35-yard line. On the return, Nick Roberts from Tyler Consolidated, number 34.
One thing is certain in my mind at this point, if I'm Coach Neely, I've got to get Eddie Drummond out of the game for sure.
Yeah.
At this point, I mean,
What is the point?
Yeah, I mean, and he can't do any more than he already has.
He is not in the ball game. He's on the sideline with his helmet, putting it back on. But maybe our Rick Terry could get over there and get his thoughts on his final high school appearance in the Ohio Valley before the end of this game.
I'm here.
Rick hustling over. We'll go down there in a second. On first down, Berkheimer to throw for West Virginia. Looks to the outside for Chad Adams. They have the completion, and I think Chad may have gotten himself out of bounds to stop the clock. It will stop the clock with the first down.
I don't think that's Chad Adams, Bill. I think that's number 20 for West Virginia. That's Chad Adams. I'm sorry. I thought you meant Butler. I'm sorry.
Well, right now, if we can, let's head down to Rick Terry. Rick?
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Linsly graduate Eddie Drummond from the Linsly School, headed to Penn State. Your reflections on your final game as a high school football player?
Well, it was just a great experience. I had a lot of fun. All the guys for the past 10 days, I have made close friends with the other team and our team. So it was just a great 10 days. And this game, it didn't go the way I wanted it to, but, you know, football game's always fun. So.
Certainly not. It didn't go the game didn't go the way you wanted it to, but you put on a spectacular individual show. You virtually single-handedly swung momentum back to the side of West Virginia early in the second half. A performance like that has to make you feel pretty good.
Yeah, well, I tried to, and I think everybody else was trying to, and it's a team game. So it was just a team effort, and we just couldn't pull through. We didn't make the plays like fourth down, fourth and inches plays. We couldn't make it, and it just resulted in this. So.
The team started to air it out later in the second half. The lead was 20 by the Ohio side. Started to air it out. They didn't go to use quite so much on the ground. Do you feel that maybe you wanted the ball more in that kind of situation?
Well, I would have liked the ball more, but basically the defense are playing pretty good. They basically know our plays. The coaching staff set them down and ran through all the plays. And they basically call the plays out when we line up. So They hassle me a lot down there, the other guys. And, they know the plays, and they pick on me a lot. So.
We look forward to seeing this guy in the navy blue and white. Eddie Drummond, back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Rick. Thank you very much, Eddie. He is headed to Penn State as Berkheimer looks across the field for Chad Adams. And he's not
what
get
a
it.
play.
Great play by Colby Street. Oh, and they rule it an incompletion.
Oh, wow. We need to see that one again.
I'll tell you what, before we take a look at that one
I
again,
really think that was a clean
if
interception.
Ohio knows Eddie Drummond's plays, They didn't do a very good job because you rushed for 195 yards unofficially. Take another look at it.
The Ohio fans are obviously unhappy. The West Virginia fans have left the building. There it is on the ground, and that's a good call.
Yeah.
Give these officials credit too. I mean, this is their opening game of the season, and you got to.
There's a 15-yard penalty against Ohio. I didn't catch the call, so I'm really not sure what it was. I didn't see the referee's.
I think these guys have called a great game. I mean, there have been a very minimal number of penalties. Obviously, there's been a little chirping down there. They've had to toss a flag every once in a while just to keep the fellas honest. It's been a good one.
Officials have kept the game under control. That's one thing. I'll tell you, they have done a good job. Wow. That pocket collapsed real quick. Number 10, Gosney.
It's a 7-yard loss on the play. So it'll bring up second down and long. Second down and 16.
I'll tell you, as an interior lineman, this has got to be the worst time of the game when you're losing 41-14 because the other team knows that you're going to throw the ball and you're dropping back in pass protection, and all these guys are just pinning their ears back and coming. And it's got to be frustrating for those interior linemen right now, those 5 guys inside for West Virginia.
Berkheimer to throw, backside pressure, front side pressure, back pressure. He's got all kinds of pressure, and he is on the ground again. Pick a defender from Ohio, credit him with the sack.
Yeah, I tell you, they were all there.
It might be a nice idea right about at this point to start tossing the
Take a knee.
balls in the big burlap bag over there and
take a knee.
Yeah, take a shower. Tony Filberto, Wayne Neal. I tell you what, they're going to have a good ball club at Weir High this year.
They sure are.
And I'll tell you what, the score may not indicate the type of work and what West Virginia accomplished the week that they were together. That's a good coaching staff.
Absolutely.
They did a good job with this club. So the score may be a little lopsided, but it's not from a lack of effort and preparation on anyone's part. As we have a handoff to Roberts up the middle. Check that, Brian Boyd from Brook up the middle, number 7. He picks up about 5 yards on the play. It'll bring up 4th and long. We'll call it 4th and about 18, 19 yards.
Zach Shudler from Bellaire St. John on the tackle. Linebacker playing real well inside for Ohio. And, of course, number 46 in there also. It's Jake Casper. Does a good job of reacting to the play as well.
This could be our last offensive play of the game if West Virginia does not convert, because on 4th down it would go over to Ohio, and with inside of a minute 28 to go, I'd imagine it would just be take a knee and wrap it up.
Well, West Virginia has 3 timeouts left, so.
Boyd on the handoff, breaks the tackle, picks up about 10 yards.
He's going to be close.
And now we've got a little pushing and shoving. The bench is clear, and the coach.
No, don't let this happen now. Come on, fellas.
Get the kids off the field.
Come on, fellas.
Coach is doing a good job of getting the players separated very quickly. Very quickly, the coach is on the field from both teams. Bob Thayer, the head coach of Ohio, he got out there quickly. And I'll tell you what, Coach Thayer tells you to get off the field. You're going to get off the field quick.
That's right, real quick.
Everybody has to keep their heads, and just remember, it's a football game. It's an all-star event. The game's just about over, and that's all that has to happen. Ohio now pointing to the scoreboard. They just need to get off the field. West Virginia gets off the field, and we just get back to finishing up this game with a minute 15 to go. A well-played game, a clean game. It's a little trash talking going on. That's going to happen, but let's just keep the fisticuffs out of this one, and let's get back to playing football.
Well, these guys hang around together for about 10 days, and usually they develop something of a dislike for each other that subsides afterwards. But I think it's fair to say that on this particular occasion that these two teams don't like each other too much right now.
No, not right now.
Well, if that fight was any indication, I'd have to agree with you.
They'll be chums later, but for the
right.
time being, it's a little heated. You're almost inclined, if you're the officials, there's a minute 15 to go, send them in for a shower and have them shake hands after they cool off. I mean, at this point in time, it's been a great evening. I mean, it really has. And these kids have put on a great show for us. The game really didn't get out of hand until early in the fourth quarter. You got a 28-14 ball game before Ohio tacks on a couple late ones. So there's Bob Thayer. He's going to be a happy camper with the win here, but a little misfortune about the turn of events in the last couple minutes.
The officials are huddling in the middle of the field at the 45-yard line, and trying to sort all of this out.
I think if we look back at that, what triggered the whole thing is I think some of the West Virginia players may have felt that there was a late hit on the ball carrier.
I think so.
And arguably that could have been called, but before the officials even had a chance to think about that, everything broke loose.
Well, what the officials need to do is make a quick decision here.
Exactly.
Make a quick call.
15 left in an all-star game.
Offsetting penalty. Just they nullify each other, put the ball down there. Ohio has it after the downs. Take a knee, let the clock run. I'm sure Coach Neely's not going to burn the timeouts.
I'll tell you what you have here, Bill, is you've got a live ball foul and you've got dead ball fouls because the fight occurred as a dead ball foul. So regardless of how they sort this out, it probably should be, if there was a late hit, there probably should be a 15-yard penalty against Ohio, and then offsetting penalties for the fight.
You're right, too. I mean, in a situation this complex, if something like that would come up during the regular season, you want to make sure you get it right. So they might as well talk about it and do the right thing.
Absolutely.
But we're not sure if it was a late hit call. I think the flags may have came in after the play had gotten out of hand in terms of the fight. So we'll end up seeing what happens. There's a look at some of the all-star cheerleaders. Wanted to mention before, and while we have them up on the screen, this is the first year that the OVAC cheerleaders for Ohio and West Virginia are an all-star group as we take a look at some of the Ohio cheerleaders having a good time. They've come from different schools around the valley. So normally what it was, the cheerleaders from each of the coaches' schools would be the OVAC cheerleaders.
In other words, it would have been Weir High's cheerleaders and East Liverpool's cheerleaders.
But this year, they combine everybody.
They're an all-star group.
And they've done an outstanding job and did an outstanding job as the drill team. I
hope we haven't forgotten.
Here's the call.
Eddie, do you wear, what kind of underwear do you wear? Calvin Klein or is it Hugo?
I guess there was no foul on the run because Ohio will take possession, and it was unsportsmanlike conduct against both sides, which was offsetting penalties. So Ohio will take over at the 40-yard line with 1:15 left to go.
There are a lot of real fine players and real fine gentlemen out on this football field. What I want to see is for this thing to end and these guys to shake hands and put it behind them.
Absolutely. Well, the clock is running. West Virginia has 3 timeouts. I hope that they don't use any of them. Just, let the clock run down and put this into the record book.
Well, the 2 big ball carriers that everybody talked about leading up to this ball game, Chad Brinker, who has been out the entire second half thanks to a bruised sternum. Hopefully that's all it is. There's not a cracked bone there, and hopefully he'll be okay. He went to the hospital for x-rays. He rushed unofficially for 144 yards in the first half of play, while Eddie Drummond played 3 quarters of football, basically rushed for 195 yards. So the 2 big guns, they came out and they showed everybody why they're the big guns in this one.
Keep your fingers crossed for Brinker because there's a kid right there. I think he could
start this year.
Yeah, I think he can come in and help OU right away. And it is over.
That is the ball game. The final score from the OVAC All-Star Game. Ohio versus West Virginia. Ohio 41. West Virginia 14 for the year 1998. We'll take the time out, come back, and wrap things up right after this.
Over the past 10 years, WTOV9 has brought you the best high school football games in the Ohio Valley. And this year, the tradition continues. Here's the WTOV9 1998 Game of the Week schedule. August 28th, Oak Glen at Weir High. September 3rd, Wellsville at Toronto, and Steubenville Big Red at Youngstown Rayin. September 4th, Weir High at Wheeling Park. September the 11th, Indian Creek at Buckeye Local. September 12th, Caddis at Steubenville Catholic Central. September 18th, Weir High at Brook and Valley at Magnolia. September 19th, Addison at Bellaire. September 25th, Bellaire at St. Clairsville. October 2nd, Caddis at Toronto. October 9th, Edison at Steubenville Big Red and Wheeling Park at Brook. October 16th, Edison at Indian Creek. October 17th, Wheeling Central at Steubenville Catholic Central and Brook at Bellaire. October 23rd, the best matchup of the week. October 30th, Steubenville Big Red at Steubenville Catholic Central and East Liverpool at Indian Creek. November 6th, Bellaire at Martins Ferry, Steubenville Big Red at East Liverpool, and Dover at New Philadelphia. The tradition continues. Ohio Valley High School football at its best from the Ohio Valley sports leader, WTOV 9.
And welcome back to the Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star Game. The final 41-14 Ohio over West Virginia. Right now we're going to head down to the field for Rick Terry and the head coach from West Virginia, Wayne Neely. Rick?
Bill, thank you so much. I'm joined live now by the head coach of the West Virginia staff and also the head coach at Weir Senior High School, Wayne Neely. Wayne, disappointed with the outcome. Probably, I would guess, more disappointed by the skirmish that occurred late in the game.
Yeah, you know, those things happened. Tempers were flaring during the game. It was a heated battle. You know, our kids played hard. There's no losers. It's an all-star game, and, you know, we asked the kids to give their best effort, 100%, play with a lot of enthusiasm. I felt they did that. You know, we came up a little bit short on the scoreboard, but, you know, who knows? It was a good football game.
The excellence of Eddie Drummond has been well documented by sportscaster folks like me. Aside from Eddie's fantastic 3 quarters of football, what else do you find in this game that you feel was positive for your side?
We were able to throw the ball. We were able to move the ball offensively. Unfortunately, we couldn't score. We settled down a little bit in the 3rd quarter. We played pretty good defense. And second half, we had some opportunities and didn't just quite capitalize on them. You know, we couldn't stop them when we had to.
Okay, Coach, good game. We look forward to seeing you on the sidelines this fall. Let's send it over to the Ohio sidelines and our own Don Sloan. Don?
Thanks a lot, Rick. I'm with victorious head coach Bob Thayer of the Ohio All-Stars. Ohio winning 41-14. Coach, you've got to be pleased with the effort. You guys really put together a strong performance.
Yeah, I'm real proud of our guys. Like I said earlier, Dawn, we had some problems earlier in the week, and we had injuries here tonight with Chad going down. Jeff Wright was hurt, and DeMar Jackson was hurt. So we were really scrambling. I was very, very proud of the way our kids played. They prepared themselves very, very well. I think the difference was I think we were just a little bit quicker in the offensive and defensive line. And our skill people, I think we might have had a few more weapons. But I tell you, Drummond is everything they said he was. He's a very exciting football player. He's a nightmare. And I'm just at this point hoping that Chad Brinker is okay.
And we haven't heard any update as far as Chad Brinker.
No, I have not heard. He left the game at halftime just as a precautionary measure to get his chest x-rayed. He took a good shot, and, you know, we all pray that everything is negative in that x-ray.
We definitely hope Chad Brinker's all right, but when Brinker left the game in the second half, you had some guys that really stepped up and filled his shoes.
Exactly. Joey Lucchino ran the ball very, very well. You know, when Chad Brinker leaves the game, it changes your offense, but we did not center our offense around one kid, and therefore we really didn't miss a beat. Ty ran the offense very well. Joey ran the ball hard, and our offensive line did an outstanding job. They threw some looks at us in the second half that we weren't prepared for, but we made some adjustments midway through the 3rd quarter, and those kids did a great job.
And finally, you got to be proud of your defense. I know Eric Kramer was one guy that really stepped up and did a heck of a job, as did Jake Casper. You know, both of those guys run the football, and they came up big running the football as well.
Right, terrific all-around athletes. And we just said at halftime, you know, if Eddie Drummond nickels and dimes us 4, 5, 6 yards, we're going to win the game. If he hits big plays, you know, they can come back and win. So that was our idea, to keep from letting him hit the big one. And our kids, for the most part, did a nice job. But I tell you what, he is a scary running back.
Ohio with a great job, and Ohio a scary team on offense tonight. They racked up 41 points. Ohio, your winner, 41-14. Back to you in the booth.
Thank you very much, Don. And gentlemen, Ohio comes up a winner tonight. And we want to congratulate everyone involved in tonight's game. And there's our Queen of Queens. It's Catherine, our Queen of Queens from St. Clairsville. Congratulations to Catherine Bodis, as she is the 1998 Queen of Queens from St. Clairsville. She did a fantastic job on Friday night, knocked them dead with that singing
I heard
voice
she got
of
a
hers.
standing ovation.
She smoked them. It was just like the OVAC McDonald's All-Star Band. But anyways, the game over. Ohio wins. Quick thoughts on the game, and the season has begun.
The only thing I've got left to say is the football season is now underway. Let's strap it up and get at it.
Absolutely, and I think we're all looking forward to it. It's been a long, long time since the last football game, and I think the Valley is ready for the 1998 football season.
I'm Bill Phillips for Coach Rich Walensky, George Kellis, Don Sloan down on the sidelines, Rick Terry, Jim Forbes, Kelly Alexia, the rest of the WTOV9 team, and from everybody at Image Video, thank you very much. Everybody who watched out there, thank you very much for watching our live presentation of the Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star Game. Our final score, once again, 41-14. Until next time, everybody, have a great night. We'll see you soon.